the patient had these issues before?
If he did, I didn't take it seriously.
Do you do that a lot?
Welcome into Hand Raise, guys. Ooh, I'm loud. I got myself loud. It's just my headphones. This is the live stream. I'm Neal. That's Chase. You probably know us by this point in the week. If you don't, or if you're new, welcome.
Thanks for coming over from Hey Coach that's currently going on simultaneously on the YouTube machine. Chris Stewart,
you love
Andy
that show.
Staples, and Nick Saban yucking it up. They're having a big time.
Staples in Tuscaloosa. He was originally probably thought this was going to be the doozy of a game.
He picked this one early, and then now it
Not
is
so
what
much.
it is.
CBS is going, hey, Andy, we feel you.
We can all convalesce together over
Yeah.
the course of the next whatever, can't we?
CBS is going, son of a bitch. You can't fault him, though. Before the season, I got it.
They always pick 2 games.
And one's Georgia, Florida, and the other one is
Yeah,
Alabama, somebody, and it's what I would have done too.
It's been Alabama LSU for years,
Yeah.
and then this time they went A&M.
And I can't fault it.
After the offseason, no, you
A&M,
went, hey,
A&M won the game. They started top 10, Jimbo and Nick and all that stuff. Anybody who goes, ha ha, it's like you would have done the exact same
there's
thing.
no.
And I like to make fun of CBS, but I can't here. I get it. I get it. They thought Auburn, Georgia, Texas A&M, Alabama would be.
Prime television ready to go.
Instead, there's combined lines of 54 points.
And they get back to potentially backup quarterbacks. Or however you want to phrase Haynes King for.
Yeah. We'll
for-
get into it here in a minute. Give people a moment or two to get in the stream. And then we'll start our audio. Ben Mintz is going to join in hour number 1. We'll take your calls after that. And you know how it works on Thursday night. You are the producer. You are the director. You determine how long we go. We've got Colts and Broncos from Mile High Stadium. Is that what it's called still in Denver? I don't know. Whatever they call it. It should be Mile High
It's
Stadium.
probably not Mile High Stadium.
In Denver. And then there's no college football tonight. So we've got the Miami Heat, the Brooklyn Nets, and an NBA preseason game. And it is yuck.
Denver is a great setting, and I sort of kind of not like is way too strong, but the Colts are appealing to the eye. But there's something about this game tonight that I have zero interest in.
Yeah, I'm
Just
the same way. I'd like to go to a game there. I would enjoy going to a game in Denver. I think it's a cool. I think it's a cool city. I like Colorado. I'd like to go, but
Yeah,
We'll see.
like I said, I've only been to Denver in the airport. I've had layovers in Denver. I've never been outside the airport in Denver.
great uniform game. Broncos with the orange top, white pant.
Go back to your old
Yeah, the
suits.
old suit. Did you see what the Patriots are wearing this weekend?
No, what are they
They're
doing?
wearing
the Minuteman?
Minuteman.
Oh.
Pat the Patriot.
It should just be the uniform.
They're
This is so stupid.
like, to me, there's no way they lose.
If that was just their uniform, it is a top 3 uniform in the NFL.
Yeah.
And maybe number 1.
Oh, it's be hard to beat.
I mean, it would be right there.
Colts going with what is probably one of the top 3 or 4 road uniforms in all.
They have the
pro
best
football.
color scheme in the NFL.
Yeah,
Outside of however you want to dictate the Chargers.
and they go super clean
They
on
don't
the road.
screw it up.
White, and white.
It's why every time you look at the Colts, you look at Kentucky and go, what are you doing?
Yeah,
You're blue and white. You're not chrome and black and need checkerboards everywhere.
no, I'm in on the checkerboard now that I know what it means.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm cool on the checkerboard, and they wore the white helmet,
Yeah.
just a plain white helmet. They look good. That was a great uniform game that we had last
Okay.
week.
All right.
All right, we'll start the stream. Everybody,
So you were better with white helmet than blue helmet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should go blue helmet at home, or even white helmet all the time.
Oh.
Blue helmet at home's fine. Blue top, white pant. White helmet, white top, white pant.
Okay.
Because it works. Whatever. No one cares. All right, here we go. We'll get started on the show.
Oh, sorry. Welcome into Dan Ray's Guys Thursday night, the Oxford Exxon podcast. I can edit that out. It's completely
It's all good.
It's completely fine. We'll figure it out. But by Thursday night, look, guys, you're getting whatever you're getting. That's the way it works. Ben Mintz joining us on the show tonight. Again, tomorrow in podcast form, you get Mintz in hour number 1. Hour number 2, it's your calls. We hang out for a while. We talk to you or we don't, depending on the number of calls that come in. Kind of finish off the week leading up to Ole Miss and Vanderbilt from Nashville, 3 o'clock on Saturday for that one. So appreciate all you guys. A lot of shows this week, a lot of stuff on the network. And, Yeah, Ole Miss trying to get 6-0 on the season, but they went over the Commodores on Saturday. So we'll talk about that today. We will talk about God knows what. I don't know. We've already been discussing uniforms and NBA preseason and that kind of thing here in the pre-show. So we'll see what we get to in a second. But the podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. By the time you are hearing this on Friday, spaghetti and meatballs will be your lunch special. Bread, any size fountain drink. And remember, every time you make any purchase, you can go ahead and be eligible and sign up to win an official Ole Miss Game Day football jersey. I saw the winner of the Central Arkansas game, went and picked his up this week. Saw that on Twitter from Blue Sky. So they're giving 7 away for the season, and you can enter in to win one of the ones coming up. Still several home games starting next week with Auburn back here in Oxford. So again, this is Blue Sky location here in Oxford, and coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. That's the number to call. If you are looking for a Ford vehicle, give that number a call. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote. You can shop it around. You can do what I've done 4 times now. What I recommend you do, hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Guest join Ben Mintz. You guys, whoever calls, on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline, Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. If you're hanging out this weekend, not going to Nashville, looking for a place to watch the game before the game, watch the game after the game, whatever the case may be, get in touch with Rafters. Stop by, have a burger, a po' boy, a beer, appetizer, full bar, the whole deal there at Rafters on the Square in Oxford. Also Rafters in New Albany. Chase mentioned all the stuff that is up on the site. Mind on My Money is up where you listen to podcasts. We talked about Elon Musk and the Twitter deal and how that's impacting banks. We also talked about Peloton bleeding and making another round of cuts. Talked about why that might be. That's on Mind on My Money, presented by Pinnacle. It's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com. We've got McCready and Siskey up today. Our picks for the road to Boise are up. About an hour and a half show. It was really good today. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Tyler, I know this will shock you, had energy. That's brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. And then we had Pete's Pigskin Preview, getting you ready for Ole Miss and Vanderbilt on Saturday afternoon. That's up on our YouTube channel here. I'll put it up in podcast form. It's
watch the video.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it up where you can listen to it if you'd like. I can't even imagine it would be like it would be like listening to a TV show.
A lot of people do it though.
Yeah, and we make money off of it, so I'll put it there for you and go for it.
Well, the stories used to be on the radio. The soap opera started out as radio thing, so maybe it's
a good point.
Yeah,
good point.
That's where God and Light began.
That is brought to you by Walk-On's Sports Bistro. They put everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. Check them out in Oxford or Ridgeland. Got the Butcher versus the Spin Instructor. Week 6 is up as well. You can listen to that. You can watch that. That's up wherever you listen to podcasts. It's up on our YouTube as well. It's brought to you by LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue in Oxford. All the freshest cuts right there right across from Kroger. Just let Kroger be your landmark. You don't need to go into Kroger to get meat. Go to LB's. They've got all the freshest cuts: beef, chicken, pork. Fresh seafood comes in every Thursday. They've got wings. House-made sausages that are fantastic: chicken, pork, beef. They've got the bacon-wrapped jalapenos, the stuffed mushrooms, the bacon-wrapped asparagus. There's so many things there. It's just fantastic. You'll love it. Give it a shot. Make sure that you tell Greg and the people at LB's how much you appreciate them sponsoring so much content of ours at MPW Digital. And this show brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Same great name, same great products. Just different names. I said same great people, I should say. Just different names. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, the surrounding area, get in touch with Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Memphis, Hernando, DeSoto, all that area, get in touch with the people at Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, 662-429-4429.
Yeah, grind. It's days of our lives, like sands through the hourglass. These are the days of our lives.
Those are the days of our lives.
Yeah.
Bo and
I guess
Hope.
it's still on.
It's still on.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, God and Light stopped, right? Isn't that what we decided? Wasn't it the one that quit?
The ones that I remember, I don't know what the Guiding Light.
Because you had All My Children.
As the World Turns.
Yeah.
Which was followed by the Guiding Light.
It was at 1 and 2 o'clock on
Yeah.
CBS, I believe.
Yep.
Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless.
Bold and the Beautiful.
Bold and the Beautiful. Young and the Restless was kind of edgy for a while. It's pretty good.
Was it?
I used to watch it some.
It's only a 30-minute, or it was a 30-minute program, I think. I think most of the other ones were an hour, if I have that right. My great-grandmother was a big soap opera watcher, and I remember that from when I was young, and it dictated your games. I got like Bozo and Dukes of Hazzard in the morning, and then I got soap operas for a while, and then I got Cubs.
Oh, you joined the Cubs in progress.
Yeah, I call it the Cubs at 3 o'clock. So I got like the last 5 innings of the Cubs is the way that worked. Because it was usually the Cubs, and even for my 6-year-old self, for whatever reason, I found the Cubs. Maybe it was because it was more common, but the Cubs broadcast more appealing than the White Sox broadcast. Oh. I did not need and you can put it on the board stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm out. So I would almost kind of pull for the Cubs, but then I would pull for whoever was playing the White Sox typically when the White Sox were on. Because how many White Sox games were on WGN, or why would
back then?
Yeah, or why? Like, how did that package work?
I don't know how the package worked. They'd only put like 15 or 20 of them. It wasn't a ton, but there were a few on there, and then they did every Cubs game.
Yeah, it was only whenever the Cubs were not playing.
Yeah, it was. There had to be 140-something, 150 Cubs games a year. I mean, the only times they were blacked out was the Saturday game of the week.
So it was day game White Sox, off day Cubs if they were on WGN.
I guess so.
That was it. If you're curious, I just pulled this up. In the coveted 18 to 49 female category, the top 4 soap operas from a rating standpoint: Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, General Hospital, and Days of Our Lives.
Oh, General Hospital.
Currently, yes. That is correct. So, although they all are falling in viewers.
Yeah, come on.
The 18 to 49 females year over year for Young and Restless, even the winner, down 11%.
Yeah,
that's not good.
No,
that's a problem.
Well, young women watch a lot of Ask Me How I Know reality shows.
Now they must be getting some people that are older, because overall, Young and the Restless 5% up in total viewership, just down on that 1849 female. And Young and the Restless still has the same logo from when I was like 4.
Yeah. Well,
by the way,
if it ain't broke,
I'm staring at it. Days of Our Lives does too. I'm seeing that. So,
yeah, Stefano. You never knew what Stefano was going to do. It's going to be bad. Who was it? It was Marl.
What show?
On Days of Our Lives, the one that she was possessed.
I don't know.
She was married to John, or
her
trying to be married to John.
My great-grandmother, her favorite was Guiding Light. I remember like when Reba died and then came back and ended up being like, I think she went to like a Amish cult or something for a little while, and then maybe like just came back from the dead period. Yeah, it was a sight.
Kickoff in Denver, Colts and Broncos getting started here on a Thursday night game that we've both decided we have really very little interest in.
Good.
Miami leads Brooklyn 35-24 in the second period of an exhibition game that we have even less interest in.
Yeah, that one really matters.
There's just nothing on. No college football tonight. And if there is, I can't find it. So if somebody knows where there's a college football game, fill me in.
No, I don't think there is a game tonight.
Marlena, that's who it was. Marlena was possessed by a devil or something.
So what ended up happening?
I can't remember. It went on forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you had Bo and Hope was having issues. And
Rebel Heckler says, I've listened since day one, and I honestly can't believe it took this long to get here. I mean,
yeah,
that's fair. Covered a lot of topics.
So, some news today in college football. Max Johnson, the Texas A&M quarterback, out for the season with a broken bone in his throwing hand. They go back to Haynes King. Jimbo feeling the heat. I mean, really, we talked about this earlier in the week. We are an Arkansas mistake away from total disaster. And then today on Feinbaum, a caller called in and said it would be easier.
Now, we're not blaming the whole fan base for the one caller, are we? Look, I'm as much as the next guy. I want to make fun of A&M. Don't get me wrong, but are we
7:17? Where's my pen? Because we had a pool, and I don't remember what did I have in the pool. Does anybody? When Chase would first defend the Texas A&M, it wasn't 7/7. October 6th. Where's my pen? This is unbelievable. It's like the moment finally came, and I'm totally unprepared.
Go ahead, tell what happened.
Called in, was it Roger from Texas? Calls in and says it would just be cheaper to hire a hitman.
Well, I mean, you probably can get a hitman cheaper than $95 million. I mean, I know inflation's high right now, but I don't think it probably would cost $95 million for that service. But yes, I understand what you're saying.
I mean, it's not funny ever. And you pray that someone...
He was joking, right?
I don't... If I'm Feinbaum and them, I'm trying to figure out where the call came from. And
you're at least going to have it checked.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you can't not.
But I'm... No, am I putting the whole fan base in Rodgers? No, of course not. Absolutely not. No. But I'm telling you, it's going to get bad there. They're one Arkansas screw-up away from it already being...
An inch and a half.
Well, I mean, if you just want to do the kick was...
Well, that's all it took. I didn't need to do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it was half an inch.
AJ not fumbling. I mean, take your pick.
The bad snap on second down. If there's no bad snap on second down, Cam Little makes the kick from straight up 32 yards. He makes that kick. He makes that kick 99 times out of 100. And they win the game. And this is total meltdown there.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much credence because it's never funny. But, like, that feels too cheap. Like, I'll just say that. I won't make it a topic on the podcast. But that feels too cheap. I don't think quality is high with that one. Weren't they good? I thought it was interesting. Who did A&M play last week? Help me.
Mississippi State.
I thought that the A&M media, because I enjoyed their message boards when the game was over last Saturday, so I saw a decent amount of A&M media. I thought that they were greasing it to go back to Haynes King anyway, and for him to be the quarterback. So, I mean, it's a huge deal, but on the field, I kind of felt like probably where they were going.
King was bad.
Oh, it was awful.
Johnson was bad.
Awful.
This is the quarterback guru, and all he gets is bad quarterbacks.
He's not a quarterback guru. He was really good offensively 15 years ago.
They said he was.
10 years ago.
I'm just telling you.
Well,
look at their schedule. I mean, do the Ole Miss thing for a minute. That game suddenly doesn't. Frankly, that game is less scary to me if I'm evaluating it from an Ole Miss perspective.
Than Fayetteville.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's less scary than Auburn next week.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah.
Do you really?
I do.
A&M's defensive speed would make me go the other way on that. But, yeah, it's in that ballpark. It's in the same territory.
Certainly not as scary as LSU.
No. God, no. And A&M sort of turns on their own team in College Station, too.
Yeah, and of the
that's not an environment that overwhelms you.
And the last three games are far scarier to me from an Ole Miss perspective than Texas A&M. Alabama, of course, at Arkansas, and then Mississippi State. All three of those. If you were picking today, Alabama, Texas A&M, you would pick Alabama. If you were picking today, Arkansas, Texas A&M, you'd pick Arkansas, and you'd pick Mississippi State. State did beat them. Alabama's going to beat them, and Arkansas should have beaten them. I'm telling you, Arkansas is going to kick themselves in the feet in their own ass for months over that A&M game. Yes, God, it's ridiculous. You can't lose that game.
It was right there.
Yeah, multiple times.
They get a reprieve in a couple weeks with Carolina, sort of, but
Maybe. I'm not giving them the South Carolina game.
they're off next week.
Well, they'll win that.
Alabama, Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida, Auburn, UMass, LSU.
I'll give them UMass.
Oh, yeah, they suck.
That's all I'm going to give them.
No, they could lose in Columbia the way they're playing.
Of course. They can't score.
I would look Anthony Richardson. It sucked, but I think I would pick Florida in College Station today. And they've lost how many times so far? Just the two. It feels like four, but it's just
They've lost
two.
just twice. They've beaten
Miami, Arkansas, Sam Houston.
Yeah.
3-2.
3-2. About to be 3-3.
You lose that Carolina game.
Oh, it gets
And
squirrely.
suddenly finding 6 is
Gets
a chore.
hard. And can you imagine?
5-7 in College Station.
Whew.
Frankly, 6-6 in College Station. Hell, it's the same thing.
Well, they deserve 6-6 because then you have to go play an awful bowl game.
Yeah, go enjoy wherever, Shreveport or Memphis or whatever.
I think they could find a way to blame it, forfeit, or get out of it, and say we had a breakout of
Blame it on their
strep throat, maybe.
Oh, we had a quarterback injury and just really derailed
We
us.
just couldn't do it. Yeah. It's gonna be tough.
And then you're going to tell the boosters to turn around and pay millions of dollars a month later for NIL?
If I'm a booster,
Hey, we just need a little more.
if I'm a booster, I'm saying, well, wait a minute. If I give it to you, who's coaching them? That's when a booster goes, I'm giving the money to Texas A&M, not to Jimbo Fisher. I wouldn't want to be Ross right now. Someone will say, why don't you give him that contract? And he'll say, well, because he was going to go to LSU, and they would say, well, good. Should have let him. It's your job to know the score. Is that completely fair to Ross? No, but
It is what it is.
life's not fair.
Because when did he do that? What year?
Last year,
Oh, it was last year, wasn't it?
yeah, when they were so concerned that Jimbo was leaving for LSU.
Because all he's really done is gone 8-1 or whatever during the COVID year.
He had a great COVID year.
He did.
He did. And everybody said, they're breaking. Here they come. Not. As it turns out, when you go back and you review what happened in the COVID year, you can pretty much throw most of it away.
Good and bad.
Yeah, people had.
Ole Miss is one of the few teams where you looked at it and went, no, okay, that was the start of something.
It was the start of something.
Yeah.
But you can
But it was still 5-5.
I mean, but Ole Miss probably would have beaten LSU had Elijah played,
Yeah,
had
sure.
Yeboah played.
Yeah.
You know,
But like Indiana is not
and
capitalizing.
And now you would have. Now that we know what we know, I would have liked to have seen Ole Miss go play at Texas A&M. We all assumed it would have been a loss. I'm not so sure anymore.
Well, the first time it would have been a win because Mond wasn't playing.
Right.
That was a win.
And what you're finding out is that Kellen Mond was a pretty good college quarterback.
Yeah. He was a college quarterback, but he was
it's all he was asked to be.
Yeah.
It's the Jefferson thing.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody always
He
does.
doesn't need to go play for the Raiders.
Well, everybody always goes, KJ Jefferson can't play in the NFL. And you're like, yeah, I know. And then he can't, suddenly he might be out. And everybody goes, well, if he's not available, they'll get blown out. I'm like, well, hold up. Just 2 weeks ago, you said this guy, you know what I'm saying? You're asking a guy to be a college quarterback. Kellen Mond was a good college quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Tebow was a great college quarterback.
He was. Chris Leak.
Yeah. Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. Fair. I mean, no, Ross was in a no-win situation there, but at the end of the day, it's still his scalp.
Yeah, Mitchell says not trying to defend Ross, but I doubt he made the decision to extend Jimbo. Nope, but his name's on the contract probably. He's going to get blamed for it.
But it's too much money. Can't do anything.
I agree.
When does it go down?
I don't know. What is interesting to me, I'll say it out loud. I had someone tell me, watch Billy Luici's Twitter feed. When Billy's not defending the A&M coach, something's up.
Is he not today?
No. Hadn't been for a week.
Really?
Yeah.
That does mean something.
Kyle Wilson, thanks for the super chat. He says, how would you rank coaches under Saban who are head coaches now?
How are we doing it? Are we doing present day or are we doing in general?
Yeah. I mean, right now you'd have to say Kirby's number one. He just won the national championship and he's undefeated, ranked second in the country. After that, I'm going with Lane.
Here's the list. I think this is right. Kirby, Charles Huff, Marshall.
Yeah, he's solid. Still early, but he's
trying to absolutely implement the Saban system in Huntington. I mean, just to the T.
Yeah.
Beat Notre Dame, and we're back the next day. 1-1-1. No, it's
sure.
Mario Cristobal.
Tremendous recruiter, still has to prove that he can
Very
put it together
out
on the field. Yeah.
Billy Napier.
I
do believe in him.
Oh yeah, the early results are pretty positive.
Yeah.
He inherited kind of a wreck in Gainesville. It's going to take him a minute.
Mel Tucker. One and done, baby.
Jimmy Sexton, king of college football.
Just wheeling and dealing. Hey, Mel's going to go to LSU, guys.
Jimmy would say, hey, I didn't put a gun to anybody's head.
Jimmy Sexton cannot make people pay.
No, any more than he can make a coach not take a job.
Because the school can go, no, hell no.
Sure,
Peace.
Of course. I mean,
now he can put a puzzle together like nobody's business.
Yeah, but I mean, he can't do it alone. Mm-mm. It's not like he drives down to Baton Rouge and goes, "Okay, here's Chip Kelly." No, it doesn't work like that.
Steve Sarkisian.
I'm still willing to give him more time in Texas.
Yeah. I'm not out on him yet.
No, I mean, he's recruiting pretty high level.
I don't know that I would buy, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
Mike Loxley. He's done a nice job.
He's done a really nice job.
He's done a nice job.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I'm not going to put him in the rarefied air, but he's done a good job. Lane Kiffin. You can make an argument for Lane number 2.
I think I'd put him number 2.
Yeah, you can easily make a Lane number 2 argument. That's probably true. I mean, he is 17 and freaking 3 at Ole Miss in his last 20.
If he beats
Vanderbilt. He
Vanderbilt.
will be in a minute.
Yeah. If they beat Vanderbilt, they're 17 and 3 in their last 20. Ugh. Again, that's only 4 programs in the country or higher.
So he's number 2.
Yeah.
Butch Jones, Arkansas State.
Sure. Solid.
Fine.
It's fine.
Dan Lanning, it's year 1. We'll see.
Most people think he's going to do really, really well.
Yeah. Jim McElwain is actually an underrated coach, but I'm not putting him anywhere near the top of anything.
But he's done a good job.
He's done a good job with Chippewas.
Yeah.
But all right, Central Michigan. Kurt Signetti, James Madison. James Madison's good.
They're kicking ass in the Sun Belt.
I mean, Kurt Signetti will not be at James Madison in 3 years.
Well, no. I mean, if we were putting together a hot board, God forbid, right now, he would be on it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess.
Listen, if Bo Bounds says Lane's going to Auburn, that is A, that's Bo guessing. B, that's Bo hoping. C, that's Bo praying. Nobody that I know connected to Auburn, and I know several people connected to Auburn, believe that Lane Kiffin to Auburn is remotely realistic. Now, might Lane Kiffin's people use Auburn's vacancy as leverage? Sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100% that's possible, not 100% they are.
No, but yeah, they could. I wouldn't blame them. I get it. You use leverage to get what you want.
And I guess Jimbo would be that's the Alabama former assistants. So
yeah.
Because hell, most of them were on that 15 staff together. Good God.
Yeah. I mean, Saban doesn't probably get enough credit for his ability to find talent, not just coaching, not just playing talent, but coaching talent.
Yeah, there have been some doozy contracts.
Yeah.
God. It's the world of college football, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have.
Frankly, unless if you can avoid going into that stupid Michigan State A&M kind of territory, the numbers don't matter that much.
No. Like if you're Ole Miss, you give Lane 9.5 if that's what you have to do. He's worth it. I mean, relatively. Is it truly worth it? Probably not. Is it worth it? Yeah. How old's Matt Ryan? 34?
I'd be older than that, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, DJ Jones was a really good move there for the Broncos. He's had a nice career. Hey, Siri, how old is Matt Ryan?
It is just so hard to convert a 3rd and long in the NFL.
37 years old.
37. Wow. How about that? All right. Well, I visited with Ben Mintz yesterday. Here's that interview as we preview the weekend ahead in college football, also the weekend ahead in the NFL. We'll come back on the other side. We will take your calls on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Speaking of, here is Ben Mintz. Ben Mintz, Barstool Sports, kind enough to join us as he does each and every Thursday evening. Benjamin, how are you?
I'm good. I'm not sunburned at all from the student section on Saturday, and at least my voice is starting to come back. But I was looking a little rough with a red face and a hoarse voice after that game on Saturday. But, man, hey, all worth it. What a thrilling Ole Miss win, 22-19. And, kind of got away with one, to be honest. Defense made a couple of huge plays at the end. And the Kentucky kicker, Ruffalo, the same kicker who missed the extra point that helped get me to Barstool 2 years ago, really struck again in that game. So he's still
a Christmas card.
Yeah, he's the top of the Christmas card list again. But had so much fun in Oxford. I was up on stage on Friday night at Rafters with Brianna, who's a Barstool star, and her Sleep When You're Dead tour. I was like, what's going on here? Hit the Grove early Saturday morning. And I had a blast in the student section. I was sitting real low in the first half and had the Barstool Ole Miss guys clipping me. And then I ended up in the second half with Kevin Graham and Taylor Broadway in the baseball section. But it was awesome. And then, I had a blast. Went to Memphis for that music fest Saturday night and Sunday, Mintfo, which I can't say enough good things about. And so, I had like an all-time Oxford Memphis weekend. And, I can tell you the truth, Neal. My alarm went off at Monday morning at 5 a.m. I was not very happy about it, but we're back in New York now, and kind of my skin's peeling a little bit, but we're doing all right.
You saying you weren't really ready to answer the bell on Monday when it rang?
No, because I did the Sunday night music fest and we were there till like 9 or 10, and man, that 5 a.m. I did Friday night, did the show Friday night in Oxford, Saturday and Sunday night Mintfo in that game. I'm 39 years old, there's only so much one man could do. And so I was pretty shook. I actually got back here Monday. I popped in the office for a little bit, and then I went to bed. I didn't watch one play of Rams-Niners. I went to bed at 7:30 p.m. Monday night, which is the earliest I've ever gone to bed in my life. And then, Tuesday morning I started feeling like a human being again. So we're here.
Well, I'm glad you're there. All right, I want to get to the NFL slate, but first I want to talk about some of the college games because there's some interesting college games that I want to get your thoughts on. I know we don't have you forever, so I'm not going to just bog down, but Cinderella is in Lawrence, Kansas, and boy, it feels like the clock is awfully close to midnight for her. The Jayhawks getting 7 against TCU. Any chance at all Kansas pulls this off?
There's a chance. I know TCU's getting a lot of love after just completely embarrassing Oklahoma. They scored 41 points in the first half. And TCU, that was a real bold move to move on from Gary Patterson, the school legend, and get Dykes. They got to be feeling pretty good about it. Max Duggan or whatever, he's like a Heisman candidate at this point. But if this game was in Fort Worth, I'd say no chance. But with it being in Kansas and them being fired up, and TCU is coming off such a big win at home against Oklahoma, maybe Kansas is catching them in a pretty good spot. So I don't know if Kansas will win, but I'm gonna take a look at Kansas. And you know me though, Neal. I'm a believer in the home underdog. I always am. So I'm going to take a look at Kansas +7. I'm considering it.
All right. Tennessee and LSU. I don't know about you, but I'm super pumped about this game. I'm glad it's early. I'm glad I get a chance to watch it. Tennessee -3 at LSU. What do you think about this?
My instincts like the home dog again here too. Tennessee, I know a lot's going to be made. That LSU-Auburn game, and remember I was on Auburn last week, and we got that. That was a good pick. Even though they blew a 17-0 lead and lost 21-17, that Auburn +8 was really never in too much doubt. But this game, everybody's making a big deal about the 11 a.m. game, but Tiger Stadium's sold out. They absolutely hate. everybody hates Tennessee. Let's call it what it is. Their fans are.
It's going to be electric in Baton Rouge at 11 o'clock.
People acting like I saw that big game sooner or whatever. saying, "Oh, it's not going to be a home." Like,
Stop.
I mean, people were saying the same thing about Ole Miss against Kentucky, and I thought that was the rowdiest I've ever seen our stadium for an 11 a.m. game.
Don't say it too loud, Ben. You're going to make people mad. They're going to get mad at you.
Well, I mean, I thought shout out to our fans. I thought the atmosphere was incredible. I loved it. But
sometimes the early game is better because people aren't drunk yet.
In the student section, people seem quite drunk by noon already from what I saw. But
there you go. Had they done that all day and gotten to 6:30, they might have been passed out.
I think it may have kept them at the game longer. Like, I think maybe it keeps them there for the whole game, because I thought not too many people left in that one. But I think LSU will be super rowdy. A lot's been made about Jaden Daniels only throwing for 80 yards last week, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Butte hadn't really done much the first few weeks. He sat out last week with the birth of his kid. I'm kind of looking for him if he's ever going to step back up, this is the game to do it. And Tennessee's got the 128th ranked pass defense in college football. So I'm kind of thinking LSU's going to score some more points. Obviously, Tennessee will score too, but my instincts are liking LSU +3 here. I mean, when in doubt, I'll always take the underdog, though.
It's not an SEC game yet, but Texas and OU in the Red River Classic in Dallas, this line keeps moving up. It's Texas -7 now.
I mean, God, Oklahoma's looked so bad the last couple of weeks, but I feel like Texas is almost a sucker side here. Like, rivalry game, you're getting +7, kind of a toss-up. Both teams have looked a little up and down so far. Texas, we were on them last week against West Virginia, though. That was a good spot. But, I mean, I think I'd take Oklahoma or pass here. I know Oklahoma looks really bad, but these rivalry games, man, anytime you get 7 or more, I mean, I usually take the underdog in the series, and it works out because these games are usually pretty dang close. So I think I'd lean Oklahoma here, even though they certainly don't look very good.
I'm guessing Vegas has some information on KJ Jefferson here, because this line in Starkville keeps moving up as well. It's now Arkansas +9.5 at Mississippi State.
Yeah, I wish I knew more. We're taping this on Wednesday, so I wish I knew more about KJ Jefferson. I mean, my instincts, if he was playing, I think I'd take Arkansas in the points. I know you got to give State a lot of credit. They looked great last week. They slaughtered A&M 42-24. And, I was impressed by how many points they scored. I mean, I know A&M allowed some defensive stuff too, but I know things have been going kind of bad in Arkansas the last 2 weeks too. They're kind of on the standing 8 count, but I still think I'd lean the points there and expect them to fight a little bit.
Don't want to spend a lot of time on this because nobody really cares, but Missouri at Florida, it's an 11-point line now. Missouri has played pretty well the last 2 weeks. They should have beaten Auburn, and they very easily could have beaten Georgia, as crazy as that sounds. How do you expect them to respond in Gainesville?
I think this is one of those games that's set up for Missouri to get blown out after they got their heart. They blew that. They were winning 19-9 in that fourth quarter against Georgia and lost 26-22. But that being like a late Saturday night game and this being an 11 a.m. game and traveling, I feel like this is kind of a spot where I wouldn't be surprised if they came out flat after what happened last week. And, Florida obviously lost to Tennessee a couple weeks ago, but I mean, I think were they off last week, or they didn't play anybody good.
Florida played the Sunday game against Sisters of St. Mary's School of Arts or something. I mean, Eastern Washington is who they played.
Yeah, and so I think Florida might be a bounce back spot for Florida here. I just think Missouri, you lose that OT game against Auburn and you blow that lead against Georgia. This just seems like a weird spot on the road at 11 a.m. where you might come out a little flat, is what my instincts are telling me.
Are you willing to lay 30 on Georgia?
Man, it's a bounce back spot. And I don't think Auburn's going to score a lot, but no. I mean, 30 is just too much. I don't know. I mean, I tried to lay 25 with USC last week and got burned, but I'm not laying 30. And Georgia's offense didn't look very good last week. And, I know Auburn's not great, but they do play hard on defense. So, I mean, I'm not laying 30 there. I mean, God, how do you take Auburn, though? I mean, this is ugh.
Oh, I know. It's weird. So this is a weird week. We're going to get to the NFL in a minute. And I've got 4 NFL games that I kind of like. I'm not sure I have any that I really like. It's a weird week. And it's kind of that way with college, too. Like this one, Ole Miss at Vanderbilt. The Rebels now 9th in the country. I have no doubt whatsoever Ole Miss is going to win the game. I am all over this line thinking, I don't know. Ole Miss -17.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've kind of noticed a trend with Ole Miss. I'm sure you're seeing it too. We're if they come out strong in the first half, they really yank off the gas in the second half. Like, we saw, obviously, everybody saw it happen against Tulsa, and they scored 3 points against Kentucky in the second half. And, the Troy game was similar to that, too, where they scored, they were up big first half and didn't do much second half. I think I might be more inclined to, take Ole Miss in the first half line than in the game. Like, it seems like Ole Miss is getting off to pretty fast starts this year, but then I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know if teams are making second half adjustments, they're getting complacent, but it seems like the offense is playing a lot better in the first halves than the second halves. Yeah, and then, sure. Also, the hard fought Kentucky game, Auburn's bad, but, you're kind of just looking to go get out of Vandy with a win. I don't think you're that concerned with covering the spread here.
Kentucky looking to bounce back after what for them was a very disappointing loss. They are giving 9.5 to Carolina at home.
South Carolina sucks. I'm just going to point blank say it. Spencer Rattler was bad last year. He was the first quarterback that didn't do well at Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley's system. I don't care if he's got a rocket for an arm or all the intangible, the size, all that. And he hadn't looked good at South Carolina. They hadn't looked good at all, period. And I think this is a really good bounce back spot for Kentucky. South Carolina seemed like a big fluke last year overachieving under Beamer. And they've really come crashing back to earth. And I think this is a get-right game for Kentucky.
I do too. Last one, I think Alabama's going to blow out Texas A&M. I don't care if Young plays or not. I just don't think it matters. I think they're going to destroy them.
Yeah, and you got to think this game after everything with Jimbo and Saban and last year. I think Bryce Young's going to go, to be truthful. I really do. So, yeah, I like that. And then, I wouldn't hate if you took Bama first half, too. I think they're just going to beat the crap out of them. I know 23.5's a big number, but this is a huge statement spot. And, man, we have to talk about this A&M offense. I can't wait to see where all these kids and all these five-star kids end up next year. I'm sure some will go to Texas, and it'll really make them mad. I wonder how hard Kiffin's already going after these A&M, all these five-star kids that got paid, however much, I don't know, to go to school there. They're just wasting. That was embarrassing last week, and I think they're obviously in big trouble. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that.
I've been saying this all week. We are whether it was a Jefferson fumble, a bad snap, a kick, some combination thereof. You don't have to change much in that game in Arlington to give Arkansas a win. And had we got it, we would be watching Meltdown City right now.
It's already kind of meltdown city. They can't. The Mississippi schools have given A&M so much trouble, and that that's inexcusable to them with the resources they have in Texas compared to what we have.
Mississippi State has dominated them. They just have. They have dominated that series.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It doesn't look like it's going to get any better for him. Max Johnson does not look good. The quarterback play is a mess, and they just look bad. There's no getting around it. And, I said it to you before, and I reiterated. I think Jimbo's offense feels outdated. It feels too complicated. We live in a society now where it's about having player-friendly schemes and RPOs and man-to-man matchups. And, I just feel like he hasn't evolved enough in the last few years.
I think that's true. All right, let's get into the NFL slate.
One college game to mention. I was on that UCLA against Washington last week. I'm on UCLA again as a 4.5-point home dog to Utah. I think UCLA is a little better than people think, and a lot got overblown with South Alabama fighting them a couple weeks ago. I thought that was a good win against Washington, and I think UCLA's got a shot at that Pac-12 South. So I wanted to mention that game.
Oh, I like that game too, as a matter of fact. And Utah's not as good away from home as they are.
No, they're one of those teams that's hard to win there, but their home road splits are big.
People will be watching the Colts and Broncos while they listen to you. So it'll be a little bit late there. I don't know that I care crazy about either one of these plays. The Colts enter the game on Thursday night, a 3-point dog at Denver.
Well, so no Jonathan Taylor got announced, which is a big loss for Indy. Look, the Colts, where are the playmakers? Michael Pittman's a pretty good receiver, but their passing game is just not explosive. Matt Ryan's old, slow. And then on the Denver side, they lost Javonte Williams to a torn ACL. I don't see how this over-under is 42.5. This game smells like a 16-13. All these primetime games keep going under. And I just think this smells like another just really ugly one here. So I'm taking under 42.5 in this one.
All right, let's get into the Sunday games. Kenny Pickett is going to make his first professional start for the Steelers. They're at Buffalo, not a fun place to get your first start. It's a 14-point line. You don't see lines that big in the NFL, but here it is, Buffalo minus 14.
No, and I mean, I can't take Pittsburgh, like you said, the rookie quarterback. And let's just reiterate, I say this all the time. Matt Canada is the worst offensive coordinator in pro football.
You hate him.
How is he an offensive coordinator in the NFL? Did you see what he did at LSU a few years ago?
Yeah.
He's miserable. And
I mean, I'm thinking about laying 14 here.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I never like playing more than 10 in pro football, but because they shorten the games. But I don't hate it. You know, Pittsburgh won there in week 1 last year too, which I think actually might help you here. I mean, Buffalo should beat the hell out of them. I mean, you know what? I'm Buffalo or nothing. How about that? There's no way I'm taking Pittsburgh here.
I accidentally skipped the London game at 8:30. It's the Giants and the Packers. Here's another big line, and I don't hate it. I don't hate Packers -8.
Man, last week I was ratted out by them against New England, and they almost lost. They're just not very explosive on offense, the receiving core right now. But the Giants, I mean, Saquon Barkley was out there running the Wildcat last week. You know, I don't know what, as of right now, what's Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor's status. So it's really hard to take the Giants when you don't know who's going to be playing quarterback. But the only thing with Green Bay is just that I know there was 27-24 last week, but they've been playing these low-scoring games. So it's hard to lay 8. But sure, I'm still Green Bay or nothing. I'm not taking the Giants.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've got their quarterback, Tom Brady, with all the off-the-field stuff that it bugs me. It really bothers me that people take such pleasure in personal foibles for people. It drives me kind of crazy. Tampa is a 9-point favorite against the Falcons, who play hard. They're just not very good.
Yeah, so this one, Atlanta's actually 2-2, but man, the Cordarrelle Patterson injury, I think, is going to really hurt Atlanta. He's given them a lot so far this year, and he's on the IR until week 9. This line coming out this high at 8.5 or 9 instead of 7, I think Tampa's going to win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think this is like a spot where everybody's acting like the sky's falling on Tampa with this Brady thing, and saw him get beat on Sunday night by a motivated KC team. You know, sometimes in Vegas, when these lines come out a little higher, there's a reason, and I think this is a get right game for Tampa.
Okay, that's interesting. AFC East game, the Dolphins head up to New York, your neck of the woods, to play the Jets. The Dolphins a 3-point favorite with all the Tua scandal going around. Tua won't play, but they're still favored by 3.
Yeah, so Teddy Bridgewater's stats on the road against the spread are like, he's like 24-5 or something in his career on the road against the spread. And that, you know, when I saw that stat, because I was considering the Jets, and I saw that stat, like Teddy's like, you know, he's certainly nothing spectacular, but he's like that steady veteran backup presence who's not going to be rattled. And I think Miami will probably go get it done. Like, he's just going to make less mistakes than Zach Wilson.
All right, talk me out of this, because I love this line. And I know it's a kind of big line, so talk me out of it, because I don't want to go lose money. Am I crazy to just love the Vikings at home -7 against a Bears team that can't score, and they're already talking about moving on from Justin Fields? I was listening to Chicago radio this week. It's really caustic. Fields wasn't their guy. He was Pace's guy. He was Nagy's guy. He's not this regime's guy, and they don't like him, and he's not doing much, and they're not letting him do much. They are so conservative on offense, and Minnesota's good at home.
Yeah, I mean, I like your logic here. I mean, in the division games, sometimes they're weird, like the underdogs cover, but the fact is in Minnesota's going to score points. And look, like you said, I mean, Fields, his passing stats are atrocious. They don't have any receivers either. I mean, they're not helping them with their lack of playmakers. No, I like Minnesota here too. I'm fine with it. I know the only thing with Minnesota is like what a crazy game that was, them beating the Saints in London and coming back, but they should be fine here. I'd like Minnesota too.
Chargers at Cleveland. The Chargers are a team that have really struggled to live up to expectations. Injuries and such have hurt them. They're a 2.5-point favorite at Cleveland.
They got me last week, though. I was on that Houston thing, and I looked up, and the Chargers were up 21-0 in the second quarter. Cleveland, boy, what a headache they are. They're 2-2, and they should be 4-0. I mean, they completely blew the Jets, and they blew that game in Atlanta. I don't know what they're doing with their play calling. All you got to do is give it to Nick Chubb, and he gets 8 yards every play. Yet they keep trying to force throwing with Brissett. I don't get it. The line looked like – I feel like I'll probably take the home dog here because the Chargers don't have the best run defense. And like I said, even though the Chargers won last week, I mean, no Bosa, No Slater, their left tackle. Keenan Allen's probably out here again with his hamstring injury. I mean, they've got some serious injuries. So I think I'm Cleveland here or nothing.
Detroit is in New England. The Patriots, because they're just a great organization, I suppose. They lost last week, but they looked kind of good doing it without they were going with the third-team quarterback, Bailey Sapp from Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mason Brooks, who played with him at Western Kentucky last year, and he was just so excited about his guy. Detroit's a 3-point dog in New England.
I like New England here. I think Mac Jones he's trying to play from what I'm hearing. But I just feel like with Belichick, they're going to win like the games they're supposed to win. And Detroit's kind of been like America's darling this year. Everybody wants to bet on them, but they can't stop anybody. I mean, they've allowed the most points through 4 weeks of any team in NFL history on defense. Something crazy, like 130-something points. So I think New England, no matter who's at quarterback, will pull this out of them.
The Texans burned you last week. The Jags kind of burned me, but they ran into a buzzsaw in Philly. The Jags are back home looking to get well. They're giving 7 to Houston.
Houston's won the last 4 in the series, but, does that matter? Because Jacksonville has been so bad until this year. I'm probably staying away, though. I mean,
the line's a little big, really.
Yeah, well, these division games, 7's a lot in these division games, man. The division games, they always know so much about each other. So, I'm probably staying away from this one, to be honest.
Titans head to the nation's capital. They play the Commanders, giving 2.5 on the road.
This game is going to be crappy. I mean, the way the styles of these two teams, it's just going to be ugly. God, the Commanders have been so horrible.
And Tennessee has shown some life.
Oh, Tennessee's definitely shown life, but then there's that Tennessee thing where they always play good in games they're underdogs, and then when you expect them to win, they just suck. God, I don't know. How do I bet the Commanders here? I'm probably going to stay away, but I think I'd take the Commanders if I had to make a pick.
All right, I know you're a Saints guy, and you like to avoid Saints games, but this one's interesting.
It is.
The Saints giving 5.5 in New Orleans against DK Metcalf and the Seattle Seahawks.
I think the story that people aren't talking enough about in pro football, the Russell Wilson leaving and the upgrade that Geno Smith's been over Russell Wilson.
I know.
Geno's playing awesome.
And Pete Carroll looks like he's 20 years younger.
I mean, they look, man, Geno's playing some good football. They're 2-2. They're chunking it around. You see how bad Russell Wilson looks. Look, Vegas is telling you they like the Saints because I thought this line would be 3.5 or 4, and it came out at 5.5. And the Saints are 1-3 in a spot where you literally can't. You can't lose this game. It is what it is.
It's a must-win game. It's a must-win game.
Yeah, it's a total must-win game. So I'm probably going to stay away from it because 5.5 seems high. But it does feel like Vegas likes the Saints because, God, it seems I don't know how you make the line that high. It seems like you make it 3.5 or 4. Why is this thing this high? It's kind of just got an alarm bell going off.
All right, to the 3:00 games, 4:00 out there in New York. Niners at Carolina. This is a 6.5-point line. The Niners coming off a big win over the Rams. Now they got to go across the country and play a Carolina team that sucks.
I'm always weird about taking obvious unders, but how the hell are 40 points getting scored in this game unless there's turnovers?
Yeah, it's fallen to 39 this afternoon. Yeah,
the Niners could win this thing 17-7, and I wouldn't be surprised. Look at how the Niners have been playing 24-9 over the Rams. When they had a pick six, they played the 11-10 game against Denver on Sunday Night Football. And Carolina can't score. Mayfield is the dead last QBR in the NFL. So, to me, I'm going under 39.5. And if this thing turns into a shootout, I'm happy to lose money.
Philadelphia, the hottest team in the NFL right now. They look just like a gazillion dollars. Jacksonville, I thought, had them on the ropes.
Yeah.
Nope. They just bounce right back. Rain doesn't bother them. They're tough. They can run on you. Jalen Hurts is playing great. A.J. Brown's lighting it up. They are legit on defense. There's a lot there to like if you're an Eagles fan. They're giving 5.5 on the road against the Arizona Cardinals.
The thing with Arizona, I said it last week. I'll say it. they stink at home and they're awesome on the road. It doesn't make any sense. They were 9-0 on the road last year. This year they're 2-0 on the road, come back at the Raiders and the win at Carolina last week, and they're 0-2 at home. They got smoked by the Chiefs and Rams, who are both good. But, like, until I see that trend break, I mean, I think I'm just going to go against them at home and take them on the road. And, yeah, you know, Eagles by 5.5, like, it makes it look like, you know, I feel like Arizona looks like a pretty good home dog with the line being this high, but I'm not taking them the way they stunk at home. So, I mean, I think I might take Philly here. I'm Philly or nothing.
I kind of like a dog road team here in this game coming up. I'm sure you're going to tell me I'm crazy. It's the 325 game, and feel free because I don't want to lose money. Again, Dallas goes to the Rams. The Rams just looked like junk in San Francisco. They've got injuries. They look like they've got a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. The Cowboys keep winning without Dak Prescott. Dallas getting 5.5 on the road in LA, and you know it's not going to be a true road game. Can you imagine how many Cowboy fans will be in Los Angeles on Sunday afternoon? It'll be 40,000 of them.
No, these are all true points. And then when you really look at the Rams thing, the pass protection has been bad, and Dallas has been awesome rushing the passer led by Michael Parsons. But something about this one feels weird too. Like, I feel like the Cowboys are going to be really public. Everybody's seen how bad the Rams have played. Yeah, they looked horrible on Monday Night Football, and everybody's talking themselves into Cooper Rush as a savior right now. So, I mean, I'm just going opposite thing. I mean, I'd lean Rams -5 if anyone in this game.
Okay. All right, game I'll be watching pretty closely. It's a rivalry game, AFC North. It's the Sunday night game. Should be a great one. Bengals and Ravens, two teams who know each other well. The Bengals getting 3 points on the road against Baltimore.
What a game this is. This is a really hard pick. The Bengals won both last year. And I remember they played around this time last year, and that was the Jamar Chase 250-yard breakout game. I remember that was when the Bengals announced they were for real. Man, I hate to sound like a cop-out, but I just really don't know in this game. I think home team by 3 seems like the right thing. You know, I like Burrow. I like Lamar Jackson. I don't really like the Bengals play calling sometimes. I feel like it's kind of vanilla. But, I mean, they still got Burrow and so much talent out there. They make it work. But I still feel like they could get more out of that offense. But I think I'm going to sit back and probably watch this one, to be honest. And, you know, I forgot how high the over-under is. I think it was like 48 or 49.
Yeah, 48.5. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it could be a little more defensive than people think, because the Bengals offense hadn't really been lighting it up, and the Bengals defense is very underrated.
It is.
Mike Hilton obviously being part of it, but you know, you look at Trey Hendrickson and Mike Hilton and Logan Wilson and Awuzie, the former Cowboys corner, man, they've done a great job just getting veterans that know what they're doing out there on defense. Sam Hubbard too.
Bates.
Yeah, Jesse Bates and safety. They're just extremely well coached. They're always in the right position. They're opportunistic. They rush the passer. Like, I feel like, you know, when you think about the Bengals, you think about Burrow and Chase, but that defense is a huge reason they made the Super Bowl last year. And I don't know. I can kind of see this game being an under, even though people are not going to want to take under on Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow play.
All right, last one, Benjamin. We got the Monday night game, another rivalry game, AFC West. The Raiders had to have a win last week, got it. Now they go to Kansas City, which is not exactly a prize. The Chiefs they looked fantastic in Tampa. They're at home at Arrowhead, giving 7 points to Derek Carr and the boys from Vegas.
I will not be going against the Chiefs here. I think the Chiefs have really kind of smoked. The last few years have been real rough on the Raiders in the series. I remember last year there was a Sunday night game around this time, and the Chiefs beat them like 41-14. In Vegas. And I think the Chiefs, you and I were both on that Colts upset against them a couple weeks ago, but I feel like that game may have poked the bear. I mean, that was a vintage Patrick Mahomes effort on Sunday night in Tampa. Now I got a Monday night game against the division rival that they're a lot better than. I mean, I kind of like KC here.
How can people catch your work over the weekend?
Well, back in the office, I'm going to pick Central from noon to 1 Eastern every day on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. So our college football show is actually at Rutgers Friday night, Nebraska-Rutgers. I'm kind of debating going out there just to make an appearance, because why not if the weather's good? And we'll have live streams at the Barstool Sportsbook Gambling House Saturday and Sunday. I'm just going to – I think my plan next couple of weeks, I'm going to chill here in New York, until Ole Miss LSU and Baton Rouge. We've already announced the college football show is going to be at Fred's. And I would love to see some Ole Miss fans there to not just be overwhelmed by the purple and gold. But I think I'm going to hang out up here till then, but then I'll be around the South a good bit. I'm going to try to make the Bama game for sure, and we'll see. So that's kind of where we're at. I think it's time to just chill up here for a couple of weeks. I was down south, did New Orleans and Oxford, Memphis, and it was a big trip. But I think I'm gonna kind of lick my wounds here for a little bit.
Well, rest up. We'll look forward to following you over the weekend and look forward to seeing you in Baton Rouge. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. It's been a good gambling season so far, so let's keep it going.
That's Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports. Always great to have him on the show, Ben. Talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks again.
That's Ben. Thanks again to him for all of his time each and every week. I won't break his good news, but he's got good news coming. So wait for him to spread that.
His news is better than the Broncos and Colts, which is currently the Broncos up 6-0 over Indianapolis in the game there in Denver. Nick Saban on Hey Coach tonight says that Bryce Young is a game-time decision. Quote, sometimes you got to protect players from themselves. The quote there for that one. The intrigue and the drama.
I don't know.
I mean, that's implying that if he can't go, we're going to have to take his helmet.
Oh, I'm sure he wants to play. Great players want to play.
But if you can't beat A&M without him, you ain't winning the title. So,
well, and if you're them, don't you got to at least think about next week? Because next week
could get a little sticky.
I mean, look, if Tennessee beats LSU next week in Knoxville is going to be.
Is that next week?
Yeah, it's going to be nutty.
Third Saturday in October. Yeah.
I mean, if Tennessee's unbeaten when Alabama comes to town,
and it's up there.
Oh, it's going to be goofy.
We saw what that looks like.
Yeah.
Is it 2:30?
Yeah, 3:30 Eastern. So 3:30 game in Knoxville. Yeah, it'd be pretty.
Calhoun's going to be slammed that day, boy.
Don't you know?
Get those damn riblets. I mean, it is going to be ready to go.
Calhoun's.
I don't like Knoxville.
I don't.
It's one of my least favorite.
It's fine
places.
Yeah,
in the league.
It's.
I mean, we don't go up there much, but that's one of my least favorite ones.
I remember Caroline talking about wanting to go look at UT, and I was like, "You won't like it."
It's one of the few I've seen all three sports.
Really?
I've done baseball, football, and basketball at UT.
Yeah, I've covered football, basketball. I've never covered baseball there.
You ain't missing much. Well, it's been a while. I've never covered it. My Ole Miss UT was just going. My family had taken a vacation to Gatlinburg, and Ole Miss just happened to play Tennessee while we were up there. Chris Burke was still playing for Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
So it's been 2 decades ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whenever that was.
Weren't y'all doing a Gatlinburg vacation when you went and covered football too?
Probably. My mother's a big guy. I mean, her and Jay would get along real well.
Yeah, because I think you went to that game because
I did go to that game.
You had to go because I couldn't. I got the flu.
Oh, that's right.
I just could not move that day. I was going to go on Friday, and on Friday I was so sick I just couldn't go.
That was the Houston. Davern Gerald's broke his leg.
Mm-hmm.
It was Derek Dooley's best win as a Vol.
That was the day that I called some boosters, and they were like, changes have to be made on the coaching staff. And I wrote that story.
Houston.
And Houston came over to me at the Monday practice. They were getting ready to go to LSU, and he goes, I've got to get rid of coaches, huh? And I just went, have you read the story?
Is that weekend?
Yeah. I said, did you read the story? And he goes, no. And I pulled it out on my phone and gave it to him. And he stood there. And we're in front of one of the coaches that I named as probably going to have to go.
Because this is like Ron and those guys. Yeah, that's right.
And he reads it, and he looks at me and goes, good sources? I went, yeah, come on. And sure enough, at the end of the year, he made changes. It's like why we do this dance is beyond me.
That's right. Masoli got a concussion. I mean, it was bad. It was like 55-14 or 17
it was bad.
Or something.
It was bad.
I'm not even like doing a bit. He yelled at somebody, like he jumped on Chuck or something that day, where it was like, okay, you're frazzled. Like I forget what it was, but there was some sort of something with him after the game, and that because their media place for visiting media, at least at that time, was really bad. It was kind of underneath the stadium, and you couldn't hear, and there was just it was chippy anyway. But then it got chippier because nobody could hear anybody else. And Tennessee celebrate. It was kind of one of those deals. It was kind of like the 11 at Vanderbilt when James Franklin had them all going, and
Man.
Ole Miss tried to celebrate the Moncrief fourth quarter touchdown, but it's 30-0 to Vanderbilt.
I know. And I was standing on the sideline talking to Pete Boone.
He said it was unacceptable.
Yeah. I mean, we've told that story so many times,
yeah.
but it remains one of the wildest days.
Pete said it's unacceptable.
I figured he would just blow me off.
He did not.
And he did not.
And then you said he should be fired. Damn, Neal. He gives you a quote, then you try to run him out of town.
Well, because he did the Monday press conference that you can't do. He's either your coach or he's not your coach. And if he is not your coach.
Did we have the vote of confidence? No, it was the gone.
He came in and he basically just.
But that was weeks later.
No, it was
it then?
It was Monday.
Oh, see, I'm getting all my weeks mixed up.
He came in on that Monday and he said that he basically repeated the unacceptable thing. That it has to be better. And I was like, you can't do this publicly with the man sitting in the room. You castrate him. In other words, now.
Okay, that's right.
Remember, he's got to go recruit.
And then it was Kentucky week when they made the change, and Burns got up and yelled to the room and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They lost it in Lexington.
Bad.
Yeah, because that was the night of the big game of the millennium, Alabama, LSU, in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, because we went ahead and got content ready for the next day, and I was.
Well, yeah, I called you and
I was getting very drunk when you told me to stop, and
because I called you and I was like, "What are you doing?" And you're like,
I was like watching the game drinking. Like,
yeah,
what do you think
and
I'm
I was
doing?
like, "Hey, slow down on the drinking because we probably got to work."
Yeah,
and then at 10 o'clock, I went trying.
Well, because I can remember when you wrote the Pete Boone Must Go column, and I remember you hit the button. I just poured a drink. Said, "Well, all right, here we go. Watch the message board for the next hour."
That was the day that I think some people here were like, this guy's a problem.
Houston did do that. Play cards with just player's name on them. Literally, they had a big play card that said TS, and they would give the ball to Tobias. It was like, I'm just saying, seems maybe scoutable.
Maybe they know what's coming when you literally telegraph it.
It had TS on it. Look, the end of I really hate Neal wasn't there for La Tech that night. I really hate you missed the La Tech game.
Yeah.
Because you got the bear with the box on his head, and you got the running back for La Tech running for like 285 and a blowout win.
Yeah.
And then I like the guy, so I'm not going to use his name, but I've got the La Tech reporter sitting here in my ear telling me how La Tech should be in the SEC. And I'm like, I am in hell right now. All the way around, I'm just in hell. Like, there's no...
I was in Starkville going,
You were.
I'm so glad I'm here.
Oh, God. It was... it's like, what is the... They're already dead. They're just getting beat with a stick right now. There's no...
Well, there was nothing.
And then Houston, they play the Egg Bowl, and he's wearing like the flat bill cap, and it's raining. And
God, I remember that.
Was,
the first time ever, you're going to wear the cap.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah. He finally sort of resigned at the end.
Oh, he was actually kind of pleasant.
I remember having to go to the practices in November going, why am I here?
Well, do you remember? It was a really eerie deal because eerie's not the right word. It was strange because we would do the press conferences or the interviews for practice in that hallway, and you could see into the offices where everything was already boxed up.
Yeah.
They had all cleaned the offices out Egg Bowl week, and you could see the boxes in the offices just sitting there waiting on the game to end for everybody to get moved out.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was the game. People were banging on the table. You were like, wait, what did you expect?
he did bang on the table.
What did you think was going to happen tonight?
I mean, you could hear it. I mean, it's an outdoor press box with cowbells, and you could hear it. And it was boom. And
I literally was like, wait. This is precisely what I expected tonight. What is it?
Yeah, had Ole Miss had some inspired effort, we'd all went, where the hell did that come from?
Where'd these guys come from? And as soon as that kind of rolled over, middle of the first quarter, I was like, yep. It
was 31-0 or 31-3 or something.
I think it was 3.
Was it 3?
Yeah. Oh, what a bad throw by Matt Ryan.
pick.
Yeah, I mean, threw it right to him.
I'd love to get Houston on the podcast. I think Houston would be fun 10 years later.
I mean, I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, I think he would be good.
I think he'd do it.
I do.
What would we talk about? All
Not
of
the
this?
2011 Rebels.
But we'd have to talk about that some, wouldn't we? Would we ask him?
I mean, if he's
Would
gonna,
you ask him why he hated me so much?
well, you had the LSU hat on that day. I mean, shit, you asked for it. I think. I mean, in all seriousness, if you could really have the real conversation,
Yeah.
the question is, what happened in recruiting in 2009? Why did it go so poorly? And did you just not think it was doable? Like, what really was going through your mind?
Or were you just tired?
Well, yeah, sure. Because, I mean, he went through hell in
He
Fayetteville
did.
and then come straight over.
Yeah. Were you just tired?
Yeah, like, what happened?
Did the exhaustion just kind of hit you?
Because, look, he's not a bad football coach.
Well, no, actually, the
Houston's a good football coach.
08 job was a hell of a job. That team, by the end of the season, it was hell on wheels.
I mean,
that team at the end of 08 was legit.
he had a chip on his shoulder and he was energized, and those guys played for him after
Ran through a wall for him.
Yeah. But
And then in 09, I thought at the end of 09 he was tired.
09 was taxing in a lot of ways. 09 was really taxing. You had the weird thing with the camera crew and the top 5 ranking and just everything. You had the weird South Carolina game that Houston kind of lost because of not playing Dexter correctly. And
I remember at a practice a couple of weeks before the season started in 09, Chris Lowe was standing there.
mm-hmm.
And he came up to me, and obviously Chris knows me from way back, and he's like, "What do you think?" And I said, "Man, I don't know. Something's off a little bit." And he's like, "Yeah, they're really tight." He goes, "I've never seen Houston so tight." And I was like, "Yeah, I think it's one thing to be the underdog, and it's another thing to be the hunted."
They were on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I mean,
Well, it's going to be a storyline for us in a couple of weeks. Listen,
Yeah.
if this season goes the next 10, what's today? Thursday. Next 9 days, the way that we think it's going to go,
7-0.
Ole Miss is going to go to LSU ranked 6, 7 in the national championship conversation
Mm-hmm.
as the hunted. Not the hunter, not the underdog, the hunted. It's different. That's a different deal. How do you handle that? And for some teams, it's like, hey, I love it. This is great. Let's go. And for some teams, it's overwhelming. I remember that Ole Miss team in 14 knocked off Alabama, went to A&M, went to A&M,
Pop the
basically
Aggies.
blew them out.
Yeah.
And then they went to LSU that night. And, hey, it got
After Tennessee. They beat A&M,
Oh, that's
Tennessee.
right. They blew out Tennessee, and then they went to LSU, and they were the hunted. And
Didn't handle it.
LSU was hunting, and Ole Miss got weird.
Well, look, it's the interesting thing. We talk about all this stuff kind of coming full circle. If they get through those two, and then whether it's by 1 point or 10 or 100, they find a way to survive LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to 8-0. Just I get it, play it out. You've got a bye week in A&M before an impossibility of keeping everyone from thinking it's the
It's
Super Bowl.
A&M, then a bye week.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Like, because you, I mean, I can't even imagine having to do the 2 weeks leading up to Alabama had they beaten A&M in that scenario. Where it's just,
God. We would have to be like, look, this first week, we're going to have to treat this like a recovery week because
Yeah,
we know what's coming.
We'll talk about that later. It's
Who does
fine.
Alabama play the week before they play Ole Miss?
I don't know.
Is it State?
I literally
Yeah, I
have
don't
no
either.
idea. No, they play State the week that Ole Miss plays LSU.
Okay.
I don't know. Is it LSU? I mean, hell, I don't know.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. I mean, a lot of carts before horses. I
was just thinking, never mind. I don't want to say it out loud. Drew says, on a serious note, has Ole Miss done anything to recognize Jevon Sneed? That's a good question.
not that I'm aware of, but that doesn't mean anything necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know what his family situation and stuff is. On a scale of 0 to 10, what was the chance y'all would have ever admitted out loud if you hadn't liked the Wave 3 Realtree hat? A 0. We would, but on the flip side,
I wouldn't have told you I liked it and lied.
I wouldn't have told you that I loved it.
Yeah.
I would have just been like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we would have stayed silent on it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have ripped it in large part because I like Tyler, and full disclosure, we'd love to have a business relationship with them. But I wouldn't have lied about it and told you I thought it was really, really cool. So I'll just tell you on a scale of 0 to 10 how much I liked it. A 10.
Yeah, we're working on things with Tyler. I'm not gonna. Hey, let me tell you that was. But I know I legitimately did like it. Though.
Yeah, I thought it was real. I thought it was badass.
Yeah,
honest to God. I mean, I think they're going to wear it against Auburn if the SEC lets them.
Yeah, real quick on that. There's no red tape from Tyler. They would love to. I mean, obviously, he would like them to wear the damn thing every week, and Lane would like to wear it a lot.
Yeah,
this is outside of their purviews.
This is an SEC thing.
Maybe I don't know. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it is, and it's not the SEC out to get Ole Miss or anything like that. It's that the SEC knows that as soon as this happened, other schools started working on things, and so the SEC has to be careful that you don't become NASCAR. Like they made them take the emblem off.
The Realtree logo.
Thank you. I said emblem. I meant logo. They made them take the Realtree stuff off.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let them wear it on the chin strap.
Yeah, that was for marketing only.
Yeah. And so, because if you're the SEC, you got to be careful that you don't open up a can of worms where all of a sudden everybody.
It's plastering stickers. You look like a minor league wall.
Yeah. In this era of NIL, where if you're Greg Sankey, you are trying to protect brands and such. I get it. It's cool, but my suspicion is that Ole Miss gets to wear them again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they'll wear them again.
I do too.
I think you will see them with a red jersey.
Oh?
My guess. That's not inside.
That would look good.
That's just my guess.
That would look good.
Tyler said on the show, he either said it on the podcast a couple days ago or he said it around the podcast, and it wasn't like it was state secret. They found out about a week before Saturday they were going to wear the powder, that it was kind of up in the air until about a week before.
Oh, okay.
And then he found out they were wearing powder blue with the hat.
Red would look good with it.
Yeah, I think red would look really good.
Yeah, and I thought the powder looked really good.
I mean, I thought the red looked good on the sketches with the Juice tweet back in June.
Yeah.
I thought that was the one that looked the best. So, anyway.
Is it just me? The SEC put out a tweet today that had a human voice attached to Juice, and I didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, just let Juice be Juice. He's a dog. Don't put a human voice with him where you pretend to think what he says. How do we know what the dog's thinking?
On the NIL contract, I did laugh out loud at the mixed breed dogs from Texas.
I did too.
That was a good shot. That was
well done. But I don't like it when people try to speak for a dog because you don't know what the dog's thinking. How do you know if the dog could talk that's what the dog would be saying? How do you really know? Stop. You don't.
You think Juice knows he's popular?
Yeah.
You think the dog knows?
Yeah.
Because he showboats a little bit. He prances.
Well, Lane was quoted as saying he's got to bring his ego down after game day. I can see it. You're walking through a crowd of thousands of people and everyone's saying your name and petting you? Yeah.
You're well liked.
You're probably thinking, hey, I'm the deal.
He doesn't go in many rooms where he's skittish. We'll put it that way.
He feels himself.
He's a good-looking dog.
He's that. Ben says Ty teed up a Realtree segment. Yeah, I mean, we make no bones about it. We'd love to get something done with them, and I think they'd like to get something done with us, maybe. So
I feel good about it.
Somewhere down the road, we'll make it happen. All right. Yeah, Ryan says, "What a life." Yeah, Amen. I mean, look, if you're going to be a dog, being Juice Kiffin right now is not the worst. It's not the worst gig in the world.
Lane looked over and saw the human can opener and went, "I'll just fix the damn thing myself. I'll have my own dog, and we will solve this."
I haven't looked for him, and I'm the one in the stadium. But you were in the stadium for half of the game the other day. Did you see the can opener?
I didn't look for him, but I did not see him. No. Was he there?
I don't know.
Has the Shark been at games? I mean, we could find this answer out really quick, but
the more I think about it, I don't think I've seen him. Now, I've not looked for him.
Is he only fluffier in some of the pictures, or is he actually fluffier in quote real life? Because the logos and graphics made him look fluffier over the off season when we saw him.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to this.
Up on your mascot beat.
Well, I normally notice mascots, and I haven't seen him.
Although, if you said, did you see Kentucky's Wildcat, I don't remember seeing their Wildcat either.
No.
And he was probably there.
He probably was there, but if I went to a Kentucky game, I bet I'd see him.
So you think you noticed the home team mascot, not the
Because they'd put him on the field. If I go to an Auburn game, I'm going to see Aubie.
He'll be with the band.
If I go to an Alabama game, I'm going to see Big Al. When I went to the Arkansas game last year, I saw all the Arkansas mascots.
Suey and
they got Big Red.
Yeah.
Suey.
They have 3.
Pork Chop.
Oh, they have a baby.
Yeah, because Pork Chop's jersey number is 1/2.
Okay.
Yeah, and you see it everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, people can make fun all you want, but here's the one thing I'll tell you. I've been inside the Arkansas bookstore thing, and people are buying the mascot. They're buying the stuffed animal. So you can make fun all you want. It works.
Yeah. Florida, I'm sure, sells the hell out of Al and Allie.
They absolutely do. I've seen people go into the bookstores and buy them.
Yeah.
At Tennessee, what's the dog's name? Smokey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you see him everywhere. So when a little kid takes a stuffed Smokey home, that's a heartstring. I mean, make fun all you want.
No, it's
Got Cocky.
Yeah.
If you go to a South Carolina game, you see Cocky everywhere.
There was a while there they really marketed the hell out of Cocky. They did a good job with him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen as much of it in years, but yeah.
Mitchell says the shark is gone. I have a source.
Okay.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
Sammy's tweet.
Yeah.
Sorry,
can't.
It's not going to make it, but I did get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I got to find the number.
The team still uses the shark on their defensive board.
They do have the shark
in the locker room.
It's better looking than the mascot.
It is, isn't it? It's fine.
It's fine.
They've had sharks in every category, every game, except for stop game breaker against Kentucky, which tells me Barry and Brown was the pre-assigned game breaker.
Ben, I'm going to be in Tupelo tomorrow. I think the team's arriving at 4. I'm getting there at 3 to set up the welcome party, and I'm going to hang out with the guys until about 6, and then Sam and Kendall and I are going to dinner, and then I'm going to go to the meetings, and then
You're going to go to the meetings?
Yeah, and then I'm going to spend the night there in the hotel and get up Saturday morning and head to the stadium with the team.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. Got all my hog gear ready to go. Got my hog hat ready to roll.
Well, it's already up there.
Yeah, it's up there. I'm ready. If it's a sunny day, I'm ready.
Houston.
No, I'm actually headed to I'm going to Franklin tomorrow. I'm going to Franklin, and Chris Lee is giving me a ride to the stadium on Saturday for the Ole Miss Vanderbilt game. All seriousness. I'm pulling up the number. I got to go find it here.
239 something.
Yeah, I've got it here written down. There it goes.
Hey, coach, over. Yeah.
662-259-8563 is the number. And if you guys want to call in. It's 8:25 as we do this. You guys determine how long we stick around on a Thursday night. It is literally up to you.
Ask on the board how many Oxford Exxon podcasts have been produced since its inception. 2,500. I mean, it's been a little over 10 years.
200, yeah, 2,500. 10 times 200 is 2,000. Yeah, 2,500.
Yeah, 250 each a year.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Moose.
Hey, Moose, what's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just I got some blackened chicken on the grill. So I called last week about the SEC Pick'em Challenge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so LSU Auburn last week by the hair, by the skin of my teeth.
That was close.
You've had 2 weeks in a row that have been pretty tough there.
What was that?
You've had 2 weeks in a row that have been a little tough.
Yeah, I know, man. But week 5, let's see. Week
We lost it. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Steve in Greenville.
Hey, Steve, what's
Steve?
up?
Hey, I've been, my next door neighbor's kid is a journalist major. And I've been asking her, what do y'all learn in journalism class? To me, it's just report what happens and go on about your day. But she recorded some of her classes to let me get an idea of what she's learning. And her professor said that most people in a press box can be broken down into 4 categories.
Ooh.
And I want to see where y'all rated yourself. He said a journalist who investigates, breaks stories, what have you.
Okay.
A reporter who doesn't really investigate, just asks questions and reports what happens. A writer who just writes the story, and then the fan.
Ooh,
Well, 2 and 3 is a little mixed up there. I would not categorize it in that instance.
yeah, I wouldn't say there's 4 types. There's the reporter who also investigates, but he or she also writes. There is the writer / reporter who just
The machine gun beat writer.
Yeah, the machine gun beat writer who can't really dig on a story, but can ask questions, can turn those answers into a story. And
Columnist.
and then there's the columnist who's there for opinions, and then there's fans.
Yeah, it's 4, but I would change up some of the categories.
Okay, and the other thing he said that sports reporters should never live in the city where of the team they cover. They should live at least 1 hour away.
Well, that's stupid for
No,
logistic
I mean,
purposes.
yeah,
That's somebody who's never done it because
Yeah.
that's literally not feasible.
That would
He
suck.
said because you become friends with the people you're having to cover.
Not really. Not
Yeah,
really. I mean,
Here's the truth: you don't get a lot of heads up. You find out about a time and a meeting and stuff. You would just be camping out all day.
yeah.
I mean, the Daily Journal did it for a long time with Parrish, but otherwise, like you're better off being close by just for logistics purposes.
Yeah, and I can tell you this: in 20 some odd years of being a reporter, beat writer, covering teams, how many people have I actually become friends with that I cover? Like, so I'll use football as an example. I'll use football and basketball. In football, I became friends with Noel Mazzoni when I was covering Auburn, and vowed to myself when that was over that I would never be friends with someone else that I covered again. I was friends with Siskey at Ole Miss. Not like super close. Not like we've become really good friends now, but we were friends. That sucked because basically I was on the phone with Tyler the day that they got fired.
That's right.
And I mean, I don't think he'll mind me sharing this. At one point in that conversation, he said, "Hey, can you wait until we get back to tell our families?" And I said, "No, I can't," which I'm sure pissed him off, but it was me doing my job. And I was friends with Andy Kennedy. I think that's pretty well known. Andy and I were friends, and we're much better friends today than we were when he was the Ole Miss coach. But that didn't stop me from doing my job. It really didn't. Are there people who become so close to coaches that they lose their objectivity? Yes. You've seen it here a bunch. But that's those but typically, and this isn't an insult at those people, it's just a fact. Typically those people are going to become friends with whoever the coach is. It doesn't matter. Because that's what's most important to them.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Yep, no problem.
Bye.
I mean, you're friends with Carl Lafferty.
Yeah.
Y'all are friends.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't stop you from doing your job.
No.
Might have made it awkward a time or two, but it didn't stop you from doing your job.
No, and I mean it's one of those deals too where there's a very clear rule. Like basically, I'll talk to him for months during baseball season, and we don't ever mention baseball ever.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's not a thing. I'm not calling him going, "Hey, I'm here and you're doing." It's just not even
right.
It's not part of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to Andy. We would talk about other stuff. I mean, we wouldn't talk, hey, how's your guard situation looking?
Because, I mean, clearly I thought he was out of a job for a portion of the baseball
because he
season.
was.
Yeah, I mean.
He was out of a job. Not that anybody's really trying to rewrite that history anymore, but there are people that sometimes try to rewrite that history, and I'm like, stop.
It was over.
It was done.
Your shirt is interesting.
It's a you Grizzlies fans should like it. It's a Steven Adams shirt.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yes, I still listen to it. A Thunder podcast. And is this Grind?
Yo, it's Grind.
Hey, Grind, hang on one second. I'm gonna finish the story, then I'll get to you. Okay. I listened to a Thunder podcast, and one of their sponsors was a T-shirt company, and they had a T-shirt of the month. And because I liked the podcast so much, I was like, well, I'll support one of their sponsors. And this was one of the shirts. It was a Steven Adams.
so it wasn't all Thunder shirts or anything. It was just random stuff.
Yeah, it was just stuff. This was when Steven Adams was with the Thunder. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like a Celtic shirt, frankly.
It really does. That's what it does.
But I just, I like the Thunder. I've got a Lou Dort shirt. I've got a Steven Adams shirt. I've got I think I've got a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander shirt. I know I've got Russell Westbrook stuff. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Grind, what's up?
Yo, man. This is one of the show, man. God dang. Been listening to Texas A&M. I'm trying to take the attitude that they've been trying to give their fans, man. It seems like the Kool-Aid been wearing off, but I'm trying to follow the Texas bag way.
Fill me in.
Well, man, as they say, man, it's better to be a positive parent than an angry alligator, as they say. On the Texas. When they were talking to their fans, man, oh my goodness, they said it's better that you can either look at things one way or look at things the other way. And I mean, like they say, maybe Ann can go out there and show them some things that, hey, maybe the Aggies can go 9-3. You never know. So, I mean, hey, it's better to look at it like that.
I mean, in a lot of ways, they're on to something, right? I mean, life's happier if you just convince yourself that it's all going to be okay. But it sort of,
I guess so.
But it sort of feels like that's like the guy that's put on 50 pounds and he takes his shirt off and he looks in the mirror and he goes, you know what? It's okay. If I look at it myself from this angle, I'm all right. Are you really doing yourself a service at that point, or would you be better off going, you know what? It happens. I've gained weight. Lots of people gain weight. I've gained weight. It doesn't make me a worse person, but I need to lose this weight. So I've got to come up with a strategy to start losing weight. That seems like the better approach than going, it's okay. I think I can order another plate of ravioli.
Well, in your scenario with the guy that gained weight, he would exactly be a positive parent. I mean, if he got big as a parent, there you go right there.
Yeah.
Man, now, because my Saturday, look, I knew we going to get to Auburn, man. But I knew what was up with the Tigers. I did not think, though. And Chase, I'm going to have to give you props, man. You called it on Oklahoma. Brent Venables?
Out.
Yeah.
No.
You think that's over?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
They ain't winning nothing.
you kind of think it's over.
Define over.
You know that what you're looking at, and they're never going to win big under him.
No, they're not going to. I don't think they're even a playoff team at any point under him.
Okay.
No.
Hey, I'm going to say this. Your boy Kerry on his podcast said that was the worst loss he's seen since he was a kid.
Yeah, you know what?
Kerry was going crazy.
I was watching him on Twitter, and he was kind of saying, hey, don't spin this into, hey, this is part of the process or this is part of the rebuild. He was like, no, this is just bad. Let it be what it is.
They legit think that Oklahoma might not make a bowl game.
Well, I mean,
they legit think that.
I mean, look, I don't.
Because after they play, I didn't know after they play Texas, they get Kansas at home, and Kansas ain't gonna be no pushover.
No, well, the rumor is, and I don't know this to be true, so let me stress it as rumor, okay? But the rumor is Gabriel's out for a little while.
So who's the quarterback?
Beats the hell out of me. Somebody not named Dylan Gabriel.
Exactly.
So Oklahoma's schedule, they're 3-2. Texas, Kansas, Iowa State, Baylor, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. I mean, they're going to find 3 more, but
I don't know.
I mean, you're having to really reach to. They're probably.
Yeah, you just told Oklahoma fans, you can find 3 more. Come on.
Well, I know. I mean, yeah.
Come on.
But you ain't finding 5 more.
So 3 more gets them to 6 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, 6-6 and having to go to the whatever bowl that is at that point.
Yeah,
that's massive failure there.
Hey, look, y'all. I don't know who y'all was talking to over the summer when y'all said Oklahoma and Texas were ready for the SEC. But y'all was right.
I mean,
it's frankly been the predominant thought.
Yeah, I was going to say, Grind. I talked to a lot of people who said that, including people at Oklahoma. Now people at Texas are like, "Oh no, we're going to be okay." People at Oklahoma were like, "Hey, we got some issues."
Yeah, I was talking to media members that were in Omaha covering Oklahoma's baseball team there at the end, and they were saying that essentially Oklahoma needed the time to figure themselves out because from a facility standpoint, from a money standpoint, from a direction of the program, everything just needed a minute. They thought they could get there, but that it was not there right now, that they were not in the Big 12. They did not have to be as efficient as they have to be in the SEC.
The rumor is, and again, but the rumor is that everything is in place for them to bolt a year early and join in 2024, and the only people that are against it are them.
Wow.
Now, I don't know that to be true. It's a rumor. I'm not vouching for it. I'm not reporting it. I'm just saying it's kind of out there. That they're the ones that don't really want to get there early. They want to buy themselves as much time as possible. Because look, this league's a bitch now. This league's a bitch. You look at last Saturday. Look at last Saturday with Ole Miss and Kentucky. Ole Miss and Kentucky, those are 2 good teams. I'm telling you, I've been on SEC fields for a long time. I've covered a lot more than Ole Miss. I've covered Auburn. I've covered Alabama. I've basically covered LSU as a beat writer. I know good SEC teams when I see them, and those were 2 good SEC teams. And those are not supposed to be good SEC teams. Those are teams that the blue bloods, if you will, take for granted. And if Ole Miss and Kentucky are going to be good, and Ole Miss and Kentucky have been pretty good over the last couple of years, if Ole Miss and Kentucky are going to be good, it's going to be an absolute awakening for Oklahoma and Texas.
Oh yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
Because I mean, you already know you got to play Alabama, and you got to play Georgia. And
it's
stuff
but
like
it's
that.
not even. I mean, Ole Miss is kind of. I mean, if they can keep it up to an extent, raise their profile. It's not even that. It's that damn trip to Starkville where they're not at all considering Mississippi State, and you can go in there and get your ass kicked.
Yeah, I've used this example.
Hey, A&M is 5-6 against Mississippi State since they joined the SEC.
Look at Texas last year when they went up to Fayetteville.
Just got popped.
Got absolutely dragged through that game, and if Jefferson doesn't make a really bad throw, it's a 40-point loss. As it was a 30-point. As it was a 30-point loss.
Did any of us pick Oklahoma to win this week?
No, we all picked Texas.
Okay, go ahead, Grind.
Yeah, man. I think you got to pick Texas. I think you got to pick Texas, man. You got to. Before I was wanting to hit around the SEC right quick before I got there. You guys a little trivia to try to win a Super Chat.
Oh, okay.
But so LSU, Tennessee, I haven't seen the picks yet, man. I've been busy as heck today. Who y'all got for that game, man?
I went with Tennessee just because I think they're better, but I'm nervous about it because it's LSU at home.
I think I believe in Tennessee, and if I do that, this is a game they win. If Tennessee is legitimately for real and elevated as a program, this is a game they win.
I'm with y'all. I think Tennessee kind of wins by 10. 10 or 13. I'm with y'all on that.
Yep.
Ole Miss Vanderbilt, I think that's a nondescript game. I think Ole Miss covers the game. But I will say, though, man, Ole Miss, man, they done pissed me off the past 2 weekends, bro, with the cover. The unders have been nice, but the cover, you was up about 15. It was either 15 or 22 against Tulsa. And I put my phone, I went to another game. I was like, oh, yeah, man, Russell got that in the bag. I'm good on that. You went the whole second half. I meant to bring this up last weekend. I'm still pissed. I meant to bring this up last weekend. And then, man, look, I know everybody was talking about how the Kentucky Ole Miss game was supposed to be this tight game, Ole Miss barely squeak out. Dude, I'm not trying to be that guy, but that game should have played out how I said. Kentucky was not as efficient. They was out there looking like Charlie Brown on field goals. Ole Miss should have won by at least 8-9 points. They should have covered that.
Ole Miss has 3 fourth-quarter points through 5 games. 3.
They killing me on the spread, man.
Well,
They killing me.
It's wild on Saturday. I mean, look, it's a coin flip. I could very easily lose by picking Vanderbilt to cover that game. I don't think it's going to be a game from a win-loss standpoint. But if you told me Ole Miss wins that game 31-13, okay, that's 18 points.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
that's about what they did last year with Matt Corral.
Yeah, it was 30.
Yeah.
Was it?
I don't remember.
31 to I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I can see that. And last game for the trivia, I'm just seeing this Georgia Auburn game. I'm thinking Georgia covers and gets the over by themselves. Honestly, I'm thinking it's nasty.
So you think Georgia looks like itself?
I think this game looks similar to the South Carolina game for Georgia. What they beat South Carolina like 48-7. I can see this game being 52-6.
Ooh.
Wow, really?
Ooh.
Something like that. Oh my goodness, yes.
What's the early?
You talking about Auburn, a team that almost leads the country in turnovers. They turn the ball over like 9-10 times in their last 3 games. You go to Athens and give Georgia the ball 3 times.
Let me ask you this: What's the early line on Auburn at Ole Miss next week? Ole Miss minus.
I would say
12.
Ole Miss minus 14.5.
I was going to say 12.5.
Yeah.
No, I could see 14.5. Them putting a hook on it. 2 touchdowns.
Hey, your boy Robbie Ashford hit some throws last week early. He was off and running.
Now, man, you're going to get me started on a whole other thing on how Harsin can't coach and whatnot, man.
When are they going to fire him? Is he going to finish the year?
Mm-mm.
Hey, if this Georgia game is I'm saying, he got after this.
He's out.
Ole Miss.
It's after.
Ole Miss will probably be facing Zach Etheridge or somebody like that.
I think it's after Ole Miss if they lose.
So you think Kirby or Lane will fire Harsin?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Man, look, if this look, man. We had Gus served up on a platter a couple years ago coming to Oxford, and y'all let me down. Do not let me down. Do not let me down.
Trust us, we don't want to. We've got to
need them to finish the job right now.
We need the W's to keep rolling. We're
in the middle of something.
Yeah, we're in the middle of something. I just think about my shirt.
Oh.
All right, I got you. All right, man. He gonna some trivia, man. I'm gonna give y'all 7. It's gonna be 7 teams. 7 head-to-heads that I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna give you basically. I'm gonna say 2 teams. You got to tell me who leads the all-time series between the 2 teams.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right.
How many we got to get right?
You got
4 out of 7.
4 out of 7. Okay.
Got to get 4 out of 7. All right. Notre Dame versus Michigan.
I think Michigan. Okay. Michigan.
You guys gonna go with Michigan?
Yeah, we're going with Michigan, sure.
Michigan leads the series 25-17. They won the last game 20-15.
Hell yeah, let's go. Wolverines. Let's go.
All right. Let's see. We're gonna do Tennessee versus Auburn.
Ooh. Tennessee.
Oh, you think Tennessee?
I mean,
I was going to think Auburn. We'll go Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yep.
All right. Auburn actually leads the series 29-22.
Oh.
They won the last matchup.
All right.
I was hoping Johnny Majors could have pulled me through on that.
All right. Minnesota versus Iowa.
I mean, Neal, this is your wheelhouse. What is the Minnesota, the history of the Gophers?
It's got to be Iowa here. It's got to be Iowa. They've been an overall better program. I'm going to say Iowa.
We locking in Iowa?
Yeah, we'll lock in Iowa.
All right. Iowa has won 7 straight, but Minnesota leads the series 62-51.
Son of a bitch.
Okay.
All right.
Notre Dame versus USC.
I mean, like, what the hell was going on in like the
30s or
30s
whatever.
and 40s
I saw
and 50s?
I saw a picture today of Notre Dame USC. Babe Ruth was wearing a Notre Dame uniform. Lou Gehrig was wearing a USC uniform.
Oh, that's cool.
Notre Dame was, Babe Ruth was fat. Lou Gehrig looked like a damn stud.
Did he really?
Yeah, Lou Gehrig was one put together dude.
But
Lou Gehrig was a good looking guy. I'm just going to tell you that. Lou Gehrig was like, he was turning it. When he walked into the room, you thought, well, son of a bitch, I'm not going to leave with her. He is.
I feel like Notre Dame has been better in every decade, like has been pretty good in every decade. I'm going to go Notre Dame.
Okay, Chase is going Notre Dame. I'll go with that.
All right, you guys are 1-2 so far.
2-2. Oh, you mean, okay. We didn't get this one either?
Yeah. Notre Dame has won 4 in a row against the Trojans, and they lead the series 48-36.
Oh.
Good job. Way to go, Chase. All right, so we're 2-2. It's a 3-game set now.
2-2. And these last 3, man.
Oh.
Cal versus Oregon.
Oh, good
my
God.
God.
I mean,
all right. I'm gonna go Cal here because
Oregon has no history, right? At all?
Yeah, and so the recent history is going to be Oregon, but it's going to be overall Cal.
Okay.
Cal.
Whatever.
Bears.
This series record right now is 42-41.
Son of a
God.
bitch.
The team that won last year leads the series.
Oh, that was Oregon.
That team was Cal.
Oh,
Cal leads the series.
Boom! I knew it all along. There's never a doubt. Never a doubt.
No shit. Okay.
Look at Murray the Moose is over there going, he had it all along. Yep.
Duke versus Wake Forest.
Duke versus Wake Forest. We're talking football still?
Yeah, basketball or what? Tim Duncan?
Like,
what do we?
Grant Hill. Christian Laettner, Chris Paul. Hell. My gut.
Wasn't Wake like?
My guts. Wake was horrible for a
long
time, but so was Duke. But Duke did have Steve Spurrier.
That's what I was wondering. Did they win for a decade because of Spurrier, or however long? Just
Duke.
You don't like in Duke?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, hell, I don't have anything to go the other way.
Why not? Should we not?
Wake Forest has won 3 in a row.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Duke leads the series 58-41.
Oh, wow. So Wake really did suck for a long time.
Yeah, they were bad. Remember that bottom 10 thing? They were in it all the time. When I was a kid, Sports Illustrated had the bottom 10.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they were always in it. Always.
Okay.
And I guess we can do the last one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Navy versus Air Force.
Navy versus Air Force.
I mean, your gut is Navy because aren't that like that's like a Nor name team.
So the trick answer would be Air Force.
Do you think so?
We won already, so what difference does it make?
Okay. He's picking Air Force.
You like it?
Yeah, why not?
Air Force? Air Force leads the series 33-22, and they won 3 in a row.
Look at that.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, I would have
I'm
missed
looking
that.
out for you guys in the super chat, man. I keep doing so.
Right.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Grind. Appreciate you.
All right.
Hey, who do we have?
Hello, this is Rodney.
Hey, Rodney.
I don't recognize you,
Rodney,
Rodney.
what's up?
Man, look, how y'all this evening?
Oh, we're good.
Oh, lovely.
Neal, I missed the flyer today. You and Fisky, did you bet on not bet, but take Mississippi State in the Arkansas game? Did you
No, I didn't. Neither one of us took it. We both said that if we knew Jefferson was playing, that we would take Arkansas at 9.5 because that's such a big number. But without knowing,
Neal, let me tell you something, buddy. I'm telling you, I've talked to some of these state people. They had 2 games circled. Now, I hate State, but they had 2 games circled, Memphis and this game. And I don't care if Richardson's playing or not. They're putting a roll operate because they're pushing them. I think they're pushing a roll on Arkansas because they're running the ball a little bit and they're starting to push the ball down the field. So, and I don't think Arkansas, their secondary, like y'all been saying, can't cover the pass. But they got a good defensive line. I understand that.
Yeah, they're okay. I think they're going to throw some 3-man and they're going to drop 8. They're going to do some different stuff this week. I mean, look, we can talk about Rodgers pushing the ball down the field all we want to. He doesn't do it. Everything's
He
under.
did against A&M.
Well, yeah, I guess a little bit. They did. I mean, we'll see. Look, I think State's. I think State's a good team.
Man, I don't care. I mean, what I think. I mean,
look, if State wins, whether they win by 1 or by 40, they're going to wake up.
Oh yeah, it don't matter. Yeah,
they're going to wake up
by 40.
They're going to wake up 5-1, and suddenly we're going to start having a different conversation about Mississippi State.
Right. And this. About this Wisconsin coach that got fired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they crucified Ole Miss when they fired when Ole Miss fired Cutcliffe. And I was glad that they got rid of Cutcliffe because he was just an average coach. We just were trying to do better. But this man up there is 41 games over 500. 41. Think about it.
Yeah, Chase was talking about this. There's a big story in The Athletic, right? The Athletic wrote a big story about the inside on this. This was
apparently he spent months without a recruiting director in the program.
Yeah.
They literally just weren't recruiting for months.
I figured it had to be something going on. I mean, there's got to be something. Cause you just don't fire a man 41 games over. I mean, most programs don't. Now, there's certain ones that will.
They saw signs and went, because of other coaches available and what they felt like they needed to do for the program, they thought waiting would be very prohibitive.
Barry Alvarez, the former coach there, is the AD, and he really likes Jim Leonard, and he would really love for Jim Leonard to get some momentum and win that job. And the best way to do that was to do it now.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't do that, they would like a shot at Leopold.
Because if you would like free money this week, take Wisconsin and lay the 10 points at Northwestern.
Oh, because they'll audition this week.
Yeah, Wisconsin's going to play a good football game on Saturday.
Sucks.
Northwestern sucks. It's free money.
All right, and now another thing. Now, I don't care either way because I think Ole Miss has been proving they can win with a pretty decent coach. Freeze, Kiffin coming in and winning. So I know Kiffin's going to move on at some point, but I don't think it's going to be a college team. I think it'll be pro. But I got to thinking because Brandon Walker keeps talking about Auburn. I don't know where he's getting that mess. But there's one team I thought about the other day that he might go to. You reckon he would go to A&M?
No, I mean, maybe, but that's a bad fit.
Ooh.
That's a bad fit. That place is weird.
Let's say like they got rid of Jimbo. I guess you got to think, that's a big, I don't know.
Like if you told me that Texas opened up and they went after Lane, I'd be like, oh, look out. Goodbye. Pack his bags. But A&M?
No. That place might be too weird.
I mean, they got a lot of money, too.
Yeah, they got a lot of money. They got a lot of money.
He threw a lot of that little glance look thing where he's like, what the hell?
He's going to get off the plane, look at the
Korean band,
the North Korean band, and the guy cheerleaders, and go, nah, I'm good. And they're not going to make they're not going to make Juice the dog.
They have a dog.
They have a dog.
It's very.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about. Yeah, they do got that. Oh, that collie. Neal. I heard you. You and maybe both of y'all was talking about that stunt they pulled up there at Vanderbilt when that girl kicked that day, and then that guy come on today talking about it. See, stuff like that needs to be called out more. I wonder why people. I guess they can't do it. It's too much pressure on them not to say nothing. Go back again. But they're gonna get some young lady hurt one of these days.
If I worked for Gannett,
they can play in these sports, these SEC or pro ball.
Yeah. Rodney, if I worked for for Gannett or something, and I said what I said, I would have been fired. But I work for me.
Really?
I work for me, and so I'm not going to fire myself for that.
Oh, okay.
And Rivals
I-
isn't
I mean,
Rivals isn't
I
going to
mean,
fire
I
me
mean,
because I'm making them money.
They're gonna get somebody hurt though.
Yeah, that was a publicity stunt that could have easily backfired. It was ill thought out. It was stupid, and but they did it. They did it for all the politically correct reasons that you think they did it, and it was
Oh yeah.
it was bad. It was
No,
bad.
no, I'm-
It was bad inside
yeah.
their locker room too.
I know I'm all over the place tonight, but I'm just shooting. You know what? When y'all about the home run thing. Now 73 was the record. Why did they keep showing that on my TV?
Because they are trying
I
to
think
tell you
Barry
without
Lamar
telling
Bonds
you
got that record.
they're trying to tell you without telling you they believe the Bonds record is not legal. So this one is.
Well, I wonder if the pitchers were on steroids back in.
There is an argument to that they were
Some
hitting
were.
against pitcher.
Clemens
Roids.
Clemens was, but like
And if they was on steroids, I ain't never seen where they was. If they was on steroids, does it help with your hand-eye coordination, hitting the ball?
Well, no, but your fly
I mean, I
ball
don't
becomes
know.
a home run because you're stronger.
yeah,
That's the thing.
And you can recuperate better
That's-
day to day.
that's the big thing.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm gonna get off here. Hey, y'all ain't no way we lose this game up here in Nashville, is it?
No, I don't think.
Please tell me.
No, they're going to win. Hey, Rodney, before you go, will you say how big a boy are you?
Who me?
Yeah, will you just say just pause for a second and say how big a boy are you?
Oh, I'm a big boy.
No, but I want you to say the words how big a boy are you?
Oh, my measurements?
No, I want you to say the words. Okay, I want you to say
Oh,
these.
how big a boy are you?
Yeah, so I want you to pause a second and then say it.
How big a boy are you?
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you, Rodney. Appreciate that.
Neal.
Yeah.
Before I leave, you remember what I told you? Old Rodney from Ripley. 38-10, Mississippi State.
Ooh.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, listen,
All right.
it's all right with me. I just hope Cam makes his kicks. That's all I hope for.
All right, y'all
All
have
right.
a good one.
All right, Rodney. People ask about my Arkansas fandom at this point. I just hope Cam makes his kicks. If it comes down to a kick, I hope Cam makes it. There we go.
Yeah. I like Rodney, and he does kind of sound like Roy D. Mercer.
He sounds just like him.
He does sound like
Yeah.
Roy D. God, those spoofs are funny.
Yeah, I did it so that maybe we could put it in one of our
Yeah,
things or something. I wanted to have a pause and
That
Get in
is
there.
good.
how big a boy are you? Send that to Jeffrey. Have him cut that up a little bit. Because it's probably time to do a new open soon.
It is.
And so that'd be perfect. How big a boy are you? He's like my measurements? Like, no, say the words.
Oh, that's good.
Just took a minute. We got there. I don't think Kiffin goes to Texas A&M. It's just terrible fit. Terrible fit. Texas, on the other hand, I mean, I'd be like, hey, he's gone. A&M, no.
We've always heard it, and it was on syndication. The Roy D. Mercer was created by a disc jockey on a morning show in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Is that right?
So Tulsa is where that.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Ended up releasing 12 hours of recording.
What's up, Jarrett?
Hey, Neal, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing fine, man. So, you think Rodney's a big read between the lines guy?
Probably not.
So, my daughter told me when I was watching earlier that I look like you, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I took it as a compliment, man. I think you're a good-looking dude. You're in great shape for a guy your age, so good on you.
Well, thanks, Jarrett. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Also, good on you for making the last correct pick with Brian's trivia there. Chase, I'm canceling my book order because of what you said.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's not your fault. So I'll do some trivia too. Who do you guys think has won the most division titles in Major League Baseball history?
The Yankees.
That is incorrect.
Cardinals.
Chase? Also incorrect. The Atlanta Braves have won 22 division titles. Dodgers 20, Yankees 20, A's 17, and Cardinals 15.
Oh, how about that? I wouldn't
You
know.
want me to say the next, Neal?
The one after Cardinals?
That would really, that shocks me just because of how many, because back then you had to win the division to make the Super World Series and because of all the Yankees. Huh, interesting.
The next one is the Cubs at 8, Neal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, how about that?
So, speaking of the Braves, Chase, were you locked in or excited about the Braves winning 5 straight division titles, or were you kind of at this point?
I mean, I feel bandwagony if I get too carried away. I mean, I always sort of know the record. I will pull for them, but I'm a kind of a sidewalk fan. I still have not. I was really happy last year for a lot of people that I know, and I'm glad they won. But no, I have not locked back in to where I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. Yeah, no, not really at all. I was Googling your question, by the way. It is worth noting, just to make me and Neal feel better. This is only counting since divisional play began in 1969, so it's not counting if you won the conference pennant.
So it's not counting when you just had to win the pennant, because then it would be Yankees.
Yeah, so just a little heads up there.
Yeah, I saw someone posted on the Braves subreddit that, and I went and Googled it, and the first thing that came up said that. So that does make a lot of sense. Because I kind of thought the same thing. I was like, man, with the Yankees have won more World Series than that, haven't they?
Yeah, it's like 20.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, something
like that.
I mean, they're the preeminent franchise in baseball.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question, and Neal, I'm not trying to call you out by saying this. So you probably don't remember, but I remember very distinctly in 2014, leading up to the LSU game, there was a lot of talk being made about, like, oh, it's going to be real hard for Ole Miss because it's Tiger Stadium at night. And I remember LSU wasn't that good that year, I think. Maybe, or they were just okay. I think they were ranked when we played them, right?
I think so. I don't remember exactly. That was a weird year for me. That was 2 weeks after I'd run the marathon and stuff like that. It was yeah. I don't recall.
Right. Okay. So anyway, I distinctly remember you saying stadiums don't win football games.
Yeah.
And so
real quick, Jared, LSU was 6-2 and ranked 24th in the country.
Okay. And we were 7-0 and like third.
That is correct.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So would it be safe to say that based on that game or other games, since then, like, I think the crowd, if not won the game, helped Ole Miss win the game on Saturday. Did you maybe change your position on that?
Not really. I mean, that game in Baton Rouge, I was there. If Ole Miss doesn't play like absolute dog shit in the first half, they win the game. They were the better team. The crowd did not get into that game until late.
Yeah. I was just curious.
And I didn't. I mean, look. I mean, I thought the crowd played a role at the end of the Ole Miss Kentucky game, but Kentucky didn't.
Yeah, that's what
Kentucky didn't. Yeah, Kentucky didn't bog down in the first half because of the crowd. Kentucky bogged down in the first half because they got beat at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, that's all I had tonight. So y'all be good.
Right.
People have been complaining about me talking about Air Force too much, so I won't bring it up.
Appreciate it, Jared. Thank you.
See you, Jared.
All right, guys. Be good.
It's two really interesting Tony Gwynn stats in the thing from Wes. Says, if you want your mind blown, Tony Gwynn could have gone 0 for his last 1199 and still been a lifetime 300 hitter.
Wow.
And Aaron Judge struck out 179 times this season. Tony Gwynn didn't strike out 179 times in the 90s.
It's unreal. He was such an amazing hitter. And it was so weird the other day. I was listening to a Padres broadcast driving back from Tupelo. And Tony Gwynn Jr. is he's the analyst, I guess, for the Padres radio. And he sounds exactly like his dad.
Does he really?
2 or 3 times I had to tell myself, wait, Tony Gwynn, because they kept saying Tony. I'm like, wait, Tony Gwynn died. And then I realized who it was.
I didn't realize that was his job or whatever, what he was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Tony Gwynn was so amazing at the plate. You couldn't strike him out.
I knew the stat was crazy, but I found it here. Maddox faced 20,000. Greg Maddox.
Yeah.
Sorry, Neal. Faced 20,421 batters during his career.
Okay.
Only 310 saw a 3-0 count, and 177 of the 310 were intentional walks.
Unbelievable.
So we only went 3-0 on 100 and whatever, 40, 30, 33.
It's probably the angriest that a sports thing has ever made me. It was 1992. It was the day after, it was the first game back from the All-Star break. The Cubs were at home playing the Pittsburgh Pirates. And they announced that night that they had broken off negotiations with Greg Maddox. And he went out and shoved it up the Pirates' ass, the way that he always did. And I thought, surely they're not going to let this guy walk away. And they did. Nothing in sports, Bartman, nothing,
Got you like Maddox.
has ever made me as angry, as irrationally angry as I was about the Cubs letting Greg Maddox walk away. Because I would have, and I would have been right, I would have gone to his agent and said, here's a contract, fill it out.
I could go through Baseball Reference and figure this out. I want to say in his first full season as a Brave, I watched him pitch against the Cubs in Atlanta. I went to a Braves-Cubs game he pitched.
He may have. His first start as a Brave was at Wrigley Field against the Cubs.
But that was an interesting day.
He dominated them.
Did he?
And then the next day, Jose Guzman pitched for the Cubs, who they'd signed via free agency, and he had a no-hitter into the ninth against Atlanta.
Oh, well.
And everybody was like, oh, see? And I was like, oh, shut the F up.
That's not.
Shut up. I was pissed. Took me a long time to kind of get past that.
Maddox had at least 15 wins 17 years in a row. At least 15 wins. I would love to see the pages on this. Bill James, noted baseball historian, calls Greg Maddox the most underrated player in baseball history.
Yeah.
Thought it was interesting.
Yeah. He was like, when you watched him pitch, it was art.
He's the all-time baseball leader in complete game shutouts in under 100 pitches. He's done it 13 times.
Yeah. Art.
The lowest ever was 76 against the Cubs. He threw a complete game shutout in 76 pitches.
Well, you would watch him pitch against guys like Ryan Sandberg, Mark Grace, Andre Dawson. I mean, great players. Whether you love the Cubs, hate the Cubs, I think you would admit that.
Yeah, sure.
Mark Grace, Andre Dawson, Ryan Sandberg, great players. He would just make them look like little leaguers. How many pitchers can make hitters like that routinely look completely lost at the plate? 2 Hall of Famers and a guy that, frankly, was really close. It was amazing.
Question the stream. Kentucky was actually on a silent count and then came out of it.
Yeah.
They realized they didn't. It wasn't, I don't know if need is the right word, but yeah, they were in and out of it throughout the game.
I mean, the crowd was a factor. The crowd was. Kentucky didn't lose because of the crowd. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, all, it's Mark in Columbus.
What's up, Mark?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Couple big games this weekend.
Yeah.
Chase, you hate Tennessee or Texas A&M more?
A&M.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Tennessee's fans get on my nerves. It's the fans. I hate A&M the institution.
Oh, I agree there.
I hate Tennessee fans more.
Yeah, dumbest fan base in the country.
That's the
really not.
The thing about A&M that's weird is that you hate them, and yet their fans are really nice.
And look, here's the truth. I mean this, so maybe I should come off some of my hate. Is at least 50% of my Tennessee hate is Wes Rucker related. I can't stand Wes Rucker.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Chase,
I mean, I am gleeful when Tennessee loses strictly because of Wes Rucker.
Their rival site is gone now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that site.
Chase.
I hated that site.
Chase.
Yeah, Mark.
We don't like him either.
I mean, he has a following though.
No one likes him.
Volquest had a guy that was on the radio network. I mean, they were just an apologist at all times. They would interview guys and be like, "So, your visit was good, huh? Your visit was really good in Knoxville. It was like the best visit you've ever had, right? Right? Huh? Right?"
Bigger Homer media contingent, Ohio State or Tennessee.
Oh, good.
Ooh, boy. I mean, that's like
I will say the rivals guy, their beat writer at Ohio State, the new rivals guy, Bill Landon, is actually very good.
The old one hated our guts.
Yeah, the new guy, Gabe DeArmond, hired him. Yeah.
He's actually he is not. He doesn't wear the Sterling Gray glasses. Two of the other guys definitely do, but he doesn't.
Noon hated us, didn't he?
Oh, God.
Yeah, he did.
Get it, everybody.
Oh, God. That guy has Ohio. His face is just filled with Ohio State memorabilia. You know it.
Tennessee going to win Saturday?
I think they match up pretty well. I mean, unfortunately, they put the Indians game at noon. I'm going to game 2 of that series, so I'm going to be watching on my phone on the Indians game.
It's Guardians, Mark. Guardians.
No. It's the Indians. I'll be wearing a Keith Lawton shirt to be as offensive as possible. I kind of like this in the series against the Rays.
Yeah. I'm cheering for Cleveland.
Good.
I'm cheering for Cleveland. I want Cleveland.
You want them to get a ring now that that's over?
It would make me feel good, actually. Be closure.
We're so young, but I think we could go into this thing kind of not knowing how big the moment is. We're so young. Because this team's really set up for like 23, 26, a year ahead of schedule. But we have elite pitching, and that wins the playoffs. I'm ready.
You'll have a pretty interesting 3 hours then.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the Kenzie kid's pitching game 2, and he has to worry about him. The athletic today was fantastic. He was actually a Vanderbilt signee. Turned with the 46th pick in the draft, and went to the pro baseball instead.
If Vanderbilt would just support baseball, they'd get some of those guys. Hey, do you ever go to the Leaping Lizard in Cleveland?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Winking Lizard. Yeah.
What's it called?
Winking Lizard.
Winking Lizard. Yeah, that place is cool. I went there. I went there the day of. Remember when Texas and Ohio State were like 1 and 2? I can't remember who was 1 and who was 2, but they were playing each other. And I was in Cleveland that day, and I went to that game that night. I went to that bar that night to watch that game, and it was amazing. That place was nutty. In a fun way.
Yeah. The Winking Lizards, they got those all over Ohio now. There's some in Columbus.
Oh, is that right?
It's kind of a change. It's fun.
Well, when I got to Cleveland, I got to Cleveland on that Saturday. I was covering Saints Browns on Sunday, and I asked the guy downstairs at the time it was called Jacobs Field. It was right there next to where the Indians played. And I said, "Where do I need to go?" And he goes, "What are you looking for?" I said, "A sports bar. Just go watch games and stuff." And he goes, "Oh, you need to go to the Winking Lizard." And he showed me how to get there, and I went, and it was huge, and it was fun. It was cool.
Cleveland's great.
I actually love Cleveland. I've been a few times, and I really like Cleveland.
I like Cleveland more than Columbus. People think I'm nuts to live here. You're out of your mind. Cleveland's 10 times better than Columbus. But I'm ready for the playoffs. I don't know. Like maybe it's just listening to y'all talk about during the Ole Miss run, but I'm a lot more into it now than I was before that. That's for sure.
I'm a lifelong Phillies fan starting tomorrow for the next 3 days. Whatever it takes for us to the Phillies to get this done. I'm with it.
Have the Cardinals won a title since the Cubs won a title?
They have not.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
That's right. No, sir, they have not. And let's leave it that way. I like Tennessee. I think Tennessee's going to win the game. I love everything about Tennessee's offense. I think they can score on damn near anyone, and I think they're legitimately dangerous. But I want to see this game. For some reason, I've had this game circled for a while. Tennessee at LSU, I just think it's a litmus test for both teams. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I agree. I can't tell if we're good or not. I think we are good.
I think
you're. We're saying because we go bad for so long.
I think you're really good. I just want to see it. I want to see, Tennessee's defense. It's funny. People have been talking about Arkansas's defense. Tennessee's defense numerically is right there with them in terms of suckage. So they've got to come up with some plays here and there. And so I want to see what that looks like.
We're decent up front. We're pretty good on the edge, but our back seven is just nightmarishly slow.
So that's a good matchup against LSU because they're not a great throwing team, but we'll see.
Yep. All right, y'all. Actually, I went to the Ohio State game Saturday. I left like till the first quarter to go to Knoxville to play golf, and I went to walk-ons for the first time. That place is good.
Yeah, walk-ons is real good.
Yeah, they have one in West Knoxville now. I decided to go there to watch the end of the Saturdays. I watched the Georgia-Missouri game and the Auburn-LSU game there. It's fantastic food.
Yeah,
really good.
It's really good. Yeah. Thanks for the plug. We appreciate that.
All right, y'all.
All right.
All right, later. Good luck this weekend. Six.
Oh, it's a scintillating contest.
It's the equivalent of the NCAA basketball tournament. Close does not mean good.
No, it's scintillating. He's going for another field goal. 34 yards. Brandon McManus, 2 for 2 today. MVP of the Broncos season so far.
Oh, it's blocked.
Oh, I spoke too soon. Points are hard to come by. Hey, who do we have?
What's up, guys? Walt in Birmingham.
What's up, Walt?
Oh, not much. Still on Twin Watch 2022 over here.
Oh, yeah. How's it going?
Next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday is the day.
Oh, that's induction day?
C-section day.
Oh, okay.
I was listening to you and Tyler earlier, and you doing the Red Dragon Reigns on Thursday, and I ordered a 12-pack of them.
That boy. Hey, that's gonna get you through the night. I'm just gonna tell you.
The next day, and the next
you
day.
pop one of those at 4:00 and you're good. You just tell the wife, say, "Baby, go get some sleep. I got this."
Yeah, if I call in the hand raise guys next Thursday, because I'm super wired out and everybody's asleep and I'm walking around the hospital or something, probably would be a while before we talk again if I had to guess.
Walt, listen to me. Walt, listen to me.
Yeah.
Okay, listen to me. Please listen to me. Next week is important. Okay? 2 things. Your wife is going to want to leave the hospital as soon as possible. The answer to that is no. You stay at the hospital literally every minute that you're allowed to stay there. Okay? That's number one. I know what your wife's going to say. She's going to be pumped full of hormones. Just trust me. You don't give in on this. Don't go home before they make you go home. Now, that's number one. Number 2, when you can sleep, Walt, you must sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's rule number 2. When you can sleep, when sleep is available and on the menu, you must order sleep. That is not the time to be like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to watch Neal and Chase. That is not the time to be like, hey, I'm going to watch the Rebels. No, the Rebels can wait. You have a DVR.
Don't get caught on your phone for 45 minutes.
If sleep is on the menu, you order sleep. Word to the wise. Take it or leave it.
Got it.
But if they come to you and say you can stay an extra night, the answer is yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And then sleep. Number three. When they offer to take the babies to the nursery for the night, yes.
The
answer is yes. Oh, and number 4, if you have in-laws, family, and they say we'd like to help tonight, the answer is yes.
Everybody's coming in town, and my mother-in-law literally just moved here from Atlanta a month ago.
Be nice to her. Be nice to her when she goes,
Yeah.
hey, I'll take it tonight. The answer is yes. If, hey,
Yeah.
y'all go sleep tonight, the answer is thank you. Yes. Don't be a hero because, man, the sleep deprivation's a real thing.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine because you're going to be doubled up on it. So when you get a chance, to sleep, when you get a chance to sleep, sleep.
Going to help out for the first little bit. Too.
Yeah. So sleep. Don't be a hero. Sleep.
Got it. Appreciate it. So anyway, back to college football, obviously, real important topic in my life at the moment. But I was listening to y'all earlier. I haven't caught the whole show, but I think the A&M fans being too nice is the reason that their stadium is not intimidating. I mean, whenever like back in 14 after Ole Miss upsets Alabama and goes to College Station, I think I had a lot of friends that were like, "Oh, I hope there's not a letdown." There was not only was there not a letdown, like the 110,000 didn't seem to matter at all. I'm sure it matters to Jimbo right now. I don't know if he's getting as many thumbs up whenever he's walking from the IPF to wherever he goes.
Some of it with A&M is like they have almost like this damage situation because they expect to be really, really good. They put all this money into it. They have money, and yet they're mediocre always. They've never gotten over the hump. It creates a weird mental environment for A&M fans.
Yeah. Those hokey, pep rallies, whatever they do, have to just be getting more and more awkward, like the worse things get.
They're horrible.
I guess you're putting on a happy face and we're all here to have fun, but whenever you really want to win, that's got to grate on some people's nerves pretty bad.
Yeah, those are horrible. Someone should stop those.
Yeah. So last weekend, the Alabama and Georgia game went exactly the opposite of kind of what I was counting on. Neal, you had a good call to cover. Though Arkansas was given every opportunity to cover that line. I mean,
yeah, they had that. Well, I mean, look, if Young doesn't get hurt, that's a blowout. But once Young got hurt and they had an opportunity, they let Alabama off the hook on that 3rd and 15. You can't give up that 3rd and 15 for 77 yards. You've got to make them punt there. And if you make them punt there, hey, man, who knows, right? Because that's fourth quarter, and the place had turned. Like all the students had left. I have some inside knowledge on this. All the students had left, and they were starting to let them back in.
Yeah,
that place was about to get crazy, and then they ran that play.
And then KJ got hurt. And when Arkansas does make it down in the red zone, they just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But so one of my bets, my problem is I figured out this college football season. I listened to you and Tyler on Monday, and then I think, I'm going to go ahead and place a couple of bets. And I don't wait until I had to make myself wait until later in the week because you end up locking yourself in somewhere. Like, for instance, I've got Kansas +7, and I'll pull up the picks today. And I'm like, I wonder if anybody picked Kansas. And the only person who picked Kansas is Rippy, who is having the worst, betting record. I mean, couldn't do any worse if he tried. And I was like, well, there goes that money. That's diapers I'm not going to buy. So with that, I guess.
Brian's really struggling.
Yeah. It happens.
It does.
He'll break out of it at some point, but maybe with Kansas. Please, dear God, be Kansas. He's going to break out.
I hope he's right because Kansas winning would be such an awesome story.
Yeah. Well, or Kansas losing by only 6 would be a great story in my book. But we'll see. But Chase, I pre-ordered your book.
Thank you.
Looking forward to getting it from Area.
Thank you. They've been
great. And a lot of people made the joke on, when's the poetry book coming, whatever. But in a hypothetical world, if there was a poetry book forthcoming, you name it something like Leaves of Oak or Needles of Pine or something to that effect. And instead of like you picking out your favorite poems, I think it'd be great if either you had poems like Only Picked Out by Houston Nutt, for instance, or only stories, that should go.
Yeah, you're combining that author's books into one work. You're finding people to then give their favorite poem. So you're combining the poetry book and Stark Villains into one book.
Right.
And creating that masterpiece.
Yeah.
Oleander or whatever that was called, and then
I think it was Leaves of Oleander or something to that effect. But anyway, I'm looking forward to reading the Resilient Rebels.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I've texted the link to a bunch of people too. So hopefully you're getting a lot of sales. It sounds like you are based on.
Yeah, it's going really well so far.
Chase has been working on his haiku, and it's pretty interesting to watch some of the. He just kind of plays with it throughout the show.
It's gonna be a flip book.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So has Bubba called in? I feel like I haven't heard him.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I mean, how am I going to bring two children into the world? I don't know what's going on in White Pine, or with Bree and Six and Chase and Diddy and the whole group.
Yeah, and this should be a big week for Diddy because the Vols are playing pretty well, and so yeah, I don't know what's going on there. A little concerned.
Maybe he'll show up. Maybe if they win in Baton Rouge, he'll show up before the Alabama game.
I hope so.
Before Alabama. Yeah. But anyway, y'all want a little Johnny Go?
Absolutely.
I never know whether people want these or not. And then I got off the call.
Neal, I love Little Johnny.
Felt like I left off, and since I might talk to y'all for a minute, figured I might as well. So Little Johnny comes home from school, and he goes to talk to his dad. Let's call him Big Johnny. And he says, "Dad, I got trouble at school today. I think they're gonna suspend me, if not worse." And Big Johnny says, "What happened?" Little Johnny says, "Well, we were in class, and teacher came in and said, 'Who knows what 3 plus 3 is?' And I raised my hand, and she said, 'Little Johnny,' and I said, 6. The teacher said, 'That's right, Little Johnny, good job.' And she said, 'But do you know what 2 times 3 is?' And at this time, Little Johnny stopped the story, and Big Johnny does quick math in his head, and he goes, 'Well, what the hell is the goddamn difference?' And Little Johnny says, 'That's what I said.'" Anyway.
Have you ever heard the story about Little Johnny and the train set?
Oh yeah, that's classic.
That's the best one.
That's when I knew I would be able to call into the show and tell them. But I'd love to hear it again.
So Little Johnny's at his train set, and Chase has heard this 1,000 times. It's my favorite joke. Little Johnny's at his train set, and the way it works is he pushes the lever down and the train goes. And when he pulls the lever up, the train stops. So he's on his train set, and his mom is in the kitchen getting dinner ready. And she can hear him, but she's leaving him alone because Little Johnny's playing with his train set. And so he pushes it down, and the train takes off, chugga, 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 and he pulls it up, choo, choo. All you sons of bitches getting on, get on. All you sons of bitches getting off, get off. She turns her head like, what did he say? But she thinks maybe I didn't hear him right. I was focusing on what I was doing. I was chopping vegetables and I was getting everything ready. Maybe I didn't hear him right. And so she kind of listens now, and he pushes the lever down. Chugga 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 chugga. He pulls it up. Whoo! All you sons of bitches getting on, get on. All you sons of bitches getting off, get off. Well, she goes into that room and she yanks him up by his ear and she says, "Little Johnny, you don't talk like that in this house. You weren't taught to talk like that in this house. Go stand in the corner and think about what you said." And so he has no choice. He goes into the corner, stands there, his face turned into the corner, his back turned to his train set. And he stands there for 30 minutes. She finally thinks, you know what, maybe he's learned his lesson. And she goes back in and she says, "Little Johnny, did you think about what you said?" And he says, "Yes, ma'am." She says, "Okay, well, you can play with your train set again." So he sits down, kind of collects himself, and he pushes the train lever down. Off goes the train. Chugga, 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 chugga. Pulls it up. All you nice people getting on, get on. All you nice people getting off, Get off. And all you nice people upset about the 30-minute delay, go talk to that bitch in the kitchen.
I love that
So, yeah, it's little Johnny for the night.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right.
Y'all have a good
Hey,
one.
good luck to you, okay?
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Let her walk.
Bye. See ya.
9-6 into the third quarter. Broncos over the Colts. Amazon's going, let's not hold these ratings against us, okay? Let's let this one be the outlier. Hey, who do we got?
Yeah, since I'll be telling dirty jokes, I got one for you.
All right, keep it quasi dirty, not super dirty.
Ooh. I might need to hang up then.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, don't go over the line.
Yeah. All right. Probably saved us a trouble there.
Yeah. I think we got where we could go.
Sammy's waving the red flags. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Grind says YouTube's definitely flagging this one. I hope not. Surely not. This wasn't too bad.
No, I think
it's pretty mild. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. It's 9:30 on here on the Thursday night. Hope everybody's has a great week. Be careful if you're driving to Nashville or wherever the case may be. Thanks to Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating for making this show possible. We certainly appreciate it. I just noticed that the Comer emblem got shrunk as we went along. So apologize to the people at Comer there. 662-801-1777 for Comer. If you're in Memphis, that area, get in touch with the people at Southern. 662-429-4429. We'll have a post-game show Saturday evening, Ole Miss and Vanderbilt at 3 o'clock. So the post-game probably starting 6:30-ish, I would guess, is when Chase will hit the button. Jeffrey will join him. Brian might. I certainly will. From Vanderbilt Stadium in Nashville, I'll have coverage at rebelgrove.com. And we'll be back on Monday with another edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. Again, our thanks to Ben Mintz for his time tonight. For Chase, I'm Neal. Take care.